Two of the great college football programs in the country, Florida and Tennessee, have met 7 times in this decade. Early in the 90s, Tennessee held the advantage, winning in 90 and 92 at Knoxville. But the momentum has turned in favor of the Gators. Florida has dominated Tennessee and everybody else in the Southeastern Conference for the last 4 years. The Gators have won 5 straight East Division titles, all at the expense of Tennessee, which seems to have conquered all other SEC obstacles except for the Florida Gators. The Gators have won 5 of 7 meetings with Tennessee in the 90s. But this year, the pressure is on young, inexperienced quarterback Doug Johnson, who has thrown 9 touchdown passes in his first 2 games this year. The Vols will rely on Heisman frontrunner Peyton Manning, the number 6 all-time passer in SEC history. Manning has done just about everything except he has never beaten the Gators. It's Florida and Tennessee from the Swamp on Sunshine Network. You're looking at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on the campus of the University of Florida, and the big one is today as the number 1 ranked Florida Gators take on the 4th ranked Tennessee Volunteers in the Swamp. Outside the football stadium, the fans, they know how to do it right. These Gator fans know how to tailgate and have a great time, and they're hoping their football team can cook up some Tennessee Volunteers. The Volunteers travel a lot of fans to Gainesville as well, so it should be very interesting. Inside the building, well, it's scorching hot. The temperature on the field is going to be well over 100 degrees in the Swamp as Florida takes on Tennessee. And hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gator Football on Sunshine. I'm David Steele with ex-Gator, ex-Dolphin Nat Moore. Nat, we know both teams are very talented, but psychologically, Florida holds an advantage over Tennessee, don't they?
Well, that's without a doubt. The Gators have been able to dominate the last 4 ball games. They're playing at home where they haven't been beaten here by Tennessee since 1971, so they've got to be very confident going into today's ball game.
We've got 2 outstanding teams offensively. The Gators led by a young quarterback, Doug Johnson. Let's talk quarterbacks. First, Doug Johnson for Florida.
Well, Doug Johnson is only going into his 3rd ball game as a starter, but he's maturing. Last week, he did a better job of taking care of the football, not throwing the turnover, and putting his team in good position to win. When you turn around and you think about the Gators, Doug Johnson must play well today.
He's got to have a big game, and Tennessee's got to have a big game from its Heisman Trophy contender, Peyton Manning, who, as I mentioned a moment ago, has never beaten Florida. His legacy could be made today.
And that's sad because Peyton Manning is a quality quarterback that's the leader in the Heisman chase, but he has not been able to solve the problem of the Bobby Stoops defense, and today I don't think will be any different.
Well, defensively, we've got 2 good football teams, as well as you look at the defensive ball clubs on both sides of the ball. That could be the determining factor.
Defense win championships, and when you look at last year, Tennessee was the number 1 team in SEC. This year, Florida is number 1, and I expect them to put the pressure on Peyton Manning today.
We've got a lot of great athletes down on the field. Larry Vittel is not one of them, but he's one fine announcer. Let's check with our sideline man right now. Larry?
Oh, come on, David. I still run a 4.40, 40 feet that is. I tell you, the running backs are very important in this ball game. First of all, for the Florida Gators, Fred Taylor needs to have the game of his life against Tennessee. Fred's the reason why Florida moved Elijah Williams to corner and Terry Jackson to fullback. He is the guy. He's the marquee tailback looking for a big game in one of the biggest matchups he's played in. On the other side, keep an eye on a very talented freshman, Jamal Lewis. He's out of the state of Georgia. Tennessee has only given him the ball 10 times in the first 2 games. I think he may get it 10 times in the first 2 quarters today as he tries to challenge the middle of the Florida defense, weakened by the loss of Reggie McGrew and hobbling injury to Ed Cherry.
Has meant everything in the Southeastern Conference in the 1990s, at least especially, Nat, when you talk about in the East Division, because if you don't win this game early, Nat, very tough to come back and represent the East in the SEC championship game.
Well, the loser of this ball game actually falls 2 games down because in head-to-head competition, you're down not only the loss, but also the tiebreaker.
Florida will receive the football as Elijah Williams and Bo Carroll stand deep, and Jeff Hall kicks it away for Tennessee. Williams from the 5. Taken down at the 17 by a swarming Tennessee special teams led by number 34, Steve Johnson. Fred White also there to help out on the tackle. Florida's offense takes over at its own 17-yard line. Doug Johnson, the sophomore from right here in Gainesville, Florida, making his 3rd collegiate start. Great athlete, pro baseball player during the summer with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And he will direct this Florida offense in what certainly is his biggest game in college football. Johnson changing the play. And overthrows his intended receiver, Jamie Richardson, as Tennessee came with good pressure on 1st down. Here's Florida's offense as you look at him there. Fred Taylor leads the Southeastern Conference in rushing 2 weeks into the college football season. Look for a big game from tight end Aaron Kenny. Jaquez Green, outstanding wide receiver with tremendous speed. Along the front line, Zach Pillar back and healthy after an ankle injury in the preseason. Very solid at left tackle for the Florida Gators. Bo Carroll has checked in for Florida and lines up in a slot to the right side, the freshman from Norristown, Pennsylvania. And they pitch it to Carroll. Carroll looking for a block. Tennessee very quick defensively is there to bury him at the 15-yard line. And let's look at Tennessee's defense. Raynoch Thompson made the big tackle on the frisky freshman from Pennsylvania. Tennessee veteran defensive front 4, Duffin, Ratliff, Brown, and Terry. Brown and Terry both have a couple of quarterback sacks early in the season. Al Wilson, a Butkus Award candidate. Leonard Little can wreak havoc both inside and outside, and Tennessee has a very experienced and solid secondary, although Fair and Goodrich on the corners have been injured this season. And Doug Johnson has to use a timeout. He's confused, trying to work out of the shotgun, and has to stop the clock before snapping it on 3rd down and 12. So we'll take a break and be right back on Sunshine. These high-powered offenses have had one shot at running their game plan, and so far it's really been the defenses taking over the football game. Bobby Stoops, what a job he has done in his 2nd year as defensive coordinator. Jaquez Green on the punt return, shifting one side of the field to the other. He gets one block here on the right corner. He might have gone all the way.
Well, there we see what speed can do as he comes close to getting outside. He's wrapped up at the ankles in the end.
Fred Taylor barrels up the middle for a couple of very tough yards. Sophomore Billy Ratliff, a 275-pound player out of Magnolia, Mississippi, was there to make the stop. That Tennessee defense, number 1 in the Southeastern Conference a year ago, had problems in the second half last week against UCLA. But then we saw UCLA turn around and thump Texas with a better than 60-point effort in Austin. So early in the season, sometimes it's difficult to tell who's got what. Johnson throwing the deep pass for Green, and the ball is batted away. And a flag is thrown as Terry Fair, it looked like he might have had his left arm on the shoulder of Jaquez Green to give himself a little bit of leverage.
And he had that left arm hanging on as Jaquez Green had a step on him, and the ball was put on the money by Doug Johnson. Good throw, and Terry Fair did what any good defensive back will do. Grab on and take the penalty, ready to give up the touch.
Now Fair suffered a slightly separated shoulder against UCLA, and he ran straight to the Tennessee sideline. I don't know if he re-injured that shoulder or what, but he does not look like he's 100% over on the Tennessee sideline.
And you can expect, David, for the Gators to test him to find out if he's healthy, because if he does have the sore shoulder, they want to go after him. They want to run at him, they want to throw at him, and make him play.
Well, Fair has come out of the game as the Gators pick up the first down on the penalty. Now Johnson operating the Florida offense up near midfield. Travis McGriff He knew he was going to get belted. He did, but he held on to the football as Goodrich and Gaines hit him simultaneously down at the 32-yard line.
Good job of knowing you're going to get hit. Good, gritty little receiver. Travis McGriff goes up, makes sure of the catch, tucks it away, takes the punishment, giving the Gators a big first down. Tremendous concentration by Travis McGriff as he's coming across the middle. Realizes he's going to get hit and just hangs in there, makes the short catch, takes the punishment.
Doug Johnson, Travis McGriff played at rival Gainesville high schools. Johnson at Buchholz, McGriff at P.K. Young High School in Gainesville. The draw play to Jackson. Terry Jackson to the 28. Leonard Little, the big play man for Tennessee. Number 1, the senior from Asheville, North Carolina, was there to make the stop.
Terry Jackson has great feet. You know, he's actually stopped in the backfield, puts a good move on, and then is able to get upfield before Leonard Little comes in for the tackle.
Florida's offense on the move. Jackson, one of the most versatile players in college football. Johnson stands in, throws it at the last second. What a throw and catch. Jaquez Green at the 10-yard line of Tennessee.
Well, Dwayne Goodrich is all over him, but Jaquez does as we've seen him do a number of times. Goes up high and takes the ball away. Doug Johnson's feeling a little pressure, but stands in there, makes a good throw, and then Jaquez just goes up and takes it away for the first down.
And watch Doug Johnson stand in there and take the hit from Leonard Little and threw a marvelous pass upfield. Steve Spurrier directing this Gator offense. Looks a little bit sharper this second series. Now from the Volunteer 10-yard line. Oh, almost an interception. He threw it right into the breadbasket of Leonard Little.
Well, the Gators came with a two-man route, and this time the Tennessee Volunteers didn't come with the blitz as the Gators expected. They dropped back in coverage, and there was nowhere to go with the football, and he tries to force it in and came close to throwing an interception. Volunteers got a hand on that ball.
Well, the Gators have picked on Tennessee's cornerbacks, Fair and Goodrich. Fair suffering from a sore shoulder, and Goodrich has a sore knee. Nothing wrong with Leonard Little, though. We'll probably see him move outside. Play in the middle linebacker spot right now as it's 2nd down and 10. Johnson for Jackson. Great defensive play by the linebacker, Raynoch Thompson. Thompson desperately trying to backpedal and recover it just in time to make the defensive play.
Well, that's a play that you'd like to see Doug Johnson when he gets outside the pocket like that. Do not force the football. Try and run it in. Force Raynoch Thompson to commit to him before he tries to lob it over his head.
The sophomore from New Orleans, Louisiana, a partial qualifier academically last year, so this is his first season with Tennessee, but he's a sophomore for the Volunteers. We'll be right back. Quarter from the swamp in Gainesville, but the Florida Gators are knocking at the Tennessee Volunteer door. 3rd and 10 at the 10. Richardson is wide left. McGriff in the slot to the left side. Doug Johnson to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Florida. Jamie Richardson.
And I mean, Doug Johnson threw a bullet. You're talking about a ball getting there in a hurry, and a super job by Jamie Richardson of going up, catching the ball in his hands as he beat Dwayne Goodrich for the touchdown.
Doug Johnson has thrown his 10th touchdown pass of the season, and a big one to get the Gators going here in the first quarter against Tennessee.
I mean, that ball got there in a hurry, and Dwayne Goodrich had no chance of recovering as he put a lot of zip on that football.
Steve Spurrier disdains field goals, and if Johnson and Richardson had not connected, that's what he would have been looking at. But instead, Cooper hammers home the extra point, and Florida's on the scoreboard in the first quarter behind a beautifully directed drive by sophomore Doug Johnson. Talked about the arm strength of Doug Johnson. Look at it again here, Nat.
Now you see what Doug Johnson sees as he goes back, scans the field, and sees the opening and just zips it in there. And Jamie Richardson goes up high to come down with the catch.
Well, the young man has a chance to make a big name for himself today, and he's off to a good start. Very good on that series.
Look very good, David, and also has the supporting cast, and that's what's been here along with Danny Werfel in the past. So you have to feel that this young man with his supporting cast and that offensive coaching staff will get the job done today.
Florida's offense, after being stymied on their first possession, got things in gear. Tennessee was completely shut down by Florida's defense. Peyton Manning's first time with the football. We'll see what the Volunteers have got. Stevenson kicking off, drives it deep. That is Levine, and he'll stay back there. Nice job by Robbie Stevenson to back Tennessee up to its own 20-yard line. Let's finish up Tennessee's offensive lineup for you. We just saw Levine. That is Heath Schuler's younger brother, one of the wide receivers. Marcus Nash, one of the top receivers in Tennessee football history. The offensive line, very solid group. All of these guys played last year for the Volunteers. They were outmanned last year by Florida's defensive front. Thought, though, Nat, that after a year of seasoning, they could better handle Florida's defensive front.
And usually what happens is the offensive center is the guy that makes the calls that are necessary to be able to pick up the different fronts and blitzes so you can get the proper protection. And so far they have not solved that riddle.
Manning rolling away from pressure, throwing on the run, connects with Peerless Price at the 30-yard line. Price, a miraculous story. We look at Florida's defense. Moten has already made a couple of big plays. Ed Chester rock solid at tackle. Beauchamp and Rogers are the ends. The linebackers, Peterson and Thomas and Rutledge. We'll all see a lot of Javon Kearse and Keith Kelsey today as well. And the secondary. Look for Tennessee to try to work on at cornerback, the left corner of Eli Williams. The senior, one of the top running backs in Florida history, moved to the defensive side of the ball this year. There's a flag down, and I don't know if Tennessee drew the Gators off or what. We'll find out. Looks like the penalty is going to go against Tennessee. Talked about Peerless Price. The guy breaks his leg in spring practice and
on the offense
is back for this football season. They didn't have any idea that Price would make that kind of recovery, but he has, and he just caught the first pass of the game for the Volunteers.
Well, he's their speed guy. He's a guy that's the game breaker, and they sorely need that speed after losing Joey Kent to graduation and to the pros. So Peerless Price is their go-to guy. They're happy to have him back.
It's a solid receiving core for Tennessee, but you're right, not a lot of great speed. Tail back, Levine turns the corner. Weary hammers him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Mark Levine, a junior from Dallas, Texas.
Well, Mark Levine is able to break the tackle of a would-be Gator here because they're in good shape as they get outside. And then Fred Weary comes up, catches him on the sideline, and really puts the hat on him as he puts a good shot on him. Dwayne Thomas comes in to help on the tackle.
Our Volunteers are first down at their own 38. Under pressure again, delivers a strike. That is Andy Mccullough on the reception, the senior from Dayton, Ohio. And the Vols have moved the ball over the 50-yard line into Florida territory for the first time today at the 45.
There you see the pressure in the box. Good job of picking up the blitzer, giving Peyton a chance to get rid of the football. Andy Mccullough is the leading receiver against the Gators. He's always come up big against the Gators, and they're able to hit him going across the middle. Once again, good possession receiver.
Mccullough has 42 career receptions and 11 of them against Florida. Here's the freshman, Lewis, running hard up the middle, getting about 9 near the 35-yard line. Jamal Lewis, the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. And the Volunteers have high hopes for that young man.
There seemed to be a little momentum swing as you see the Volunteers moving the ball down the field. Jamal Lewis running extremely hard, breaking tackles as Tico Brown will come into your picture and put on the final blow, finishing him off. Good tough running by Lewis.
Lewis was the most valuable player in the Florida-Georgia high school all-star game. Manning with good protection, throwing for Nash. Overthrows him inside the 5. Fred Weary has not been challenged very often in the first couple of games, but Tennessee going at him, and their top receiver, Marcus Nash.
Well, Marcus Nash does not have the foot speed of a Peerless Bryce, and we see Fred Weary running step for step with him, where this would have to be a perfect throw to complete the ball. Good position on defense by Fred Weary.
Peerless Price, Marcus Nash, Jermaine Copeland, Andy Mccullough, Benji Schuler. They comprise certainly one of the deepest receiving corps in college football. You mentioned the lack of overall speed. They'd like to get one of their guys really going and become a deep threat. But they're a pretty good group over there.
They've got a very talented group of receivers. But when you miss that deep guy, the speed guy who dictate defense, it comes back to hurt you, where now the defenses start to crowd the line of scrimmage, and it's hard to complete those underneath passes, David.
We have a clock problem, apparently.
It is repaired. The 25-second clock will be kept on the field.
25-second clock is malfunctioning, says referee Dick Burleson. So the 25-second clock will be kept on the field.
And that's big, David, because both of these teams, when they come up to the line of scrimmage, like to check off, like to audible and change the play. And because of that, it will hamper these quarterbacks because they can't look at that clock and make sure that they get the ball off on time.
Could be a big factor, especially for Peyton Manning, who's trying to deal with this tremendous noise that 85,000 are making. Manning keeps on the sneak to try and get the first down, and does easily.
There we saw the advantage of Peyton Manning being 6'5", and the athlete that he is, as he's able to keep those legs churning and pick up 3 or 4 yards for the first down on a simple quarterback keeper. It's a good job of coming off the ball and him keeping his legs moving, refusing to go down.
Good surge by the offensive line. Tennessee started this drive at their 20. Manning rolling. Oh, a bad pass. Tony George couldn't believe his good fortune. The ball was right there between his fingertips.
Well, one of the things we see early in this ball game, what they're trying to do now is to get Peyton Manning outside the pocket to avoid that rush as they're blocking down on the defensive end, sealing him in, and then getting Peyton Manning outside. And here he almost makes a terrible mistake as he's trying to get rid of the football, and Tony George is able to get his hand on it.
Tony George, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, quite a young man, suffers from diabetes and has a sister with cerebral palsy that has really motivated and challenged him. Manning fumbles the football. Tennessee recovers. Manning almost swallowed up in the pocket by Tim Beauchamp. Dropped the ball when Beauchamp clobbered him on the arm. Crosby, or rather Bryson, was there to fall on it for the Volunteers.
And this is just a tremendous effort by Tim Beauchamp as he's blocked by the tackle, but would not be denied. Kept coming. There's nowhere to go with the football. Comes around and is able to swipe the ball out of Manning's hands. And fortunately enough for Tennessee, they had an offensive line, or should I say a running back, there to fall on the football. And I think that was Sean Bryson.
Tennessee is 3rd down and 12. Manning looks confused, throws, almost picked off again. Tennessee never seemed to have their act together offensively. Manning was signaling with his hand as the ball was snapped.
Well, Manning knew that the pressure was coming. He saw Blitz all the way as Tony George came from outside. So he tried to look to that side, wanted to throw around the blitzer, but didn't have anywhere to go with the football. Came back, and Mike Harris was reading his eyes all the way, was able to break on the football and knock it away. Almost ended up with an interception.
And the Volunteers will show punt on 4th down and 12. Manning frustrated on the Tennessee sideline. He is 2 for 7 here in the first quarter. Gators have no one back to receive this punt, which is going to be obviously a very short one by Leverton. The freshman hanging it high. Tennessee trying to back the Gators up, and they've done it. Inside the 10. A nice punt by the freshman, David Leverton. Only 30 yards in length, but that doesn't tell the story. He's backed up Florida's offense to their 7-yard line.
The comeback effort that fell short for Tennessee, and here in the first quarter he's already broken up 2 key plays, forcing Tennessee to punt and keeping zeros on the scoreboard.
Thanks, Larry. Speaking of Tennessee's punts, let's make one correction. We've been calling their punter David Leverton, who has done that chore for the first 2 games of their season, but Chris Hogue, a senior from Memphis, Tennessee, has hit the first 2 punts for the Volunteers today. Leverton really had problems in the 4th quarter against UCLA, the freshman out of Texas. And so the senior Hogue has taken the punting duties for the Volunteers and just did a beautiful job with a little pooch kick with the Volunteers down at the 7-yard line. Johnson, very impressive on Florida's last possession, took them to the only touchdown of the game. Johnson changing the play, a short drop, a quick toss to Green in the open field, and that is a very good tackle by Terry Fair, because if Fair can't get him, there's nobody else over there, Nat.
Well, they had Jaquez isolated on Terry Fair one-on-one. They had several people in the box. Doug Johnson looks at it and realizes that he's got one-on-one. Anytime you can get the ball to your go-to guy one-on-one, you've got a chance of hitting a home run.
And Fair, who appeared to be shaken up earlier in the game on a long pass, which was called pass interference, is back in there for Tennessee. But we do not see Leonard Little on the field now for the Volunteers. Green off to a great start in his junior year. You talk about receivers with breakaway speed. Green is the one guy out here on this football field that has that kind of playmaking ability.
And what teams are trying to do to him, which is the ideal thing. You know that he has that tremendous speed. He's a home run hitter. You're trying to force him to catch the ball and punish him. And so far, he's shown that that's not going to intimidate him. He's going to make the catch. And if you get him squared up, he's going to find a way to get into the end zone.
Well, he's just so difficult to get a good solid lick on.
Extremely elusive.
This time, Jaquez lines up wide to the right. Jamie Richardson to the left side. Florida picked up a 1st down. They're at their own 18-yard line. Throwing for the tight end. Kenny, not quite with that Quez-type speed, unable to catch up to the football. And I think Doug, if he had it to do over again, might put a little more air underneath that football.
Well, he put some air on it because he really had to. Good job as the tight end's coming across the field. You think you've got him wide open. Terry Jackson does a tremendous job of picking up the blitzer. But he has to get the ball over Renock. Thompson said that's number 46, excuse me. And so he had to lob it, wasn't able to line it in that time.
Doug Johnson again will operate from the shotgun on 2nd down. Pressure on, the pass drop. I don't think Fred Taylor had much going for him anyhow. Great pressure by Tennessee's defense, which shut down the Gators on their first series, but Florida took it and scored on their second.
Well, Florida saw something in the UCLA film that they would like to be able to use, and that's just the quick screen, getting the ball out there to take advantage of that rush. As we saw that Taylor was not able to come down with the catch. He knows that's one he should have had.
Gators line up 3 wideouts to the right. Johnson with good protection. The pass is not caught by Green. Juggling it, incomplete. Terry Fair really shook up the receiver. Excellent job by the senior from Phoenix, Arizona. And Jaquez Green not able to make that big catch.
Well, he has him open. They're just running a little curl route. He's coming back to meet the ball, and he does not go out and catch the ball in front of him, giving Terry Fair a chance to come in and get the hat on the football as he knocks it loose. Well, Doug Johnson is doing a good job of standing in there, taking the hits as he's releasing the football, but he's putting the ball on the money early on.
Terry Fair playing with that sore shoulder. Made a couple of solid defensive plays for the Volunteers. Now Robbie Stevenson punting it out. Nice high kick. Jermaine Copeland makes the catch, and it was not given enough room. Tony George, I think, got there a little bit too quickly.
Well, that's a tough rule. You know, you're going down, you're covering the kick, and it's hard to anticipate when the ball's going to come down. Tony George guilty of the infraction as he didn't give him 2 yards to catch the football.
Violation of the 2-yard buffer zone, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I think we'll see on the replay clearly that Tony didn't give him 2 yards. It's a timing play, and Tony was just there a little bit too quickly.
Well, that's a little tough, though. You know, the ball's hanging in the air. It's kind of hard to keep an eye on the receiver and be able to make the tackle just as the ball comes down, or to give him the 2 yards when you have no idea when the ball's coming down.
But Tennessee has had field position in this first quarter. This is the second time they've received the ball over the 40-yard line. Manning jumping around back there in the pocket. Down he goes at the 41. George hit him head on after a pickup of 8.
And that's what the Gators want to do. They want to force him to throw the football, but then also force him to pull it down, as Keith Kelsey does a good job of getting pressure in the backfield, forcing him to pull it down and run. And when he runs, you want to punish the quarterback, as we'll see Tony George come into your picture and put the hit on him.
Give off to the tailback, diving across the 40, Levine. Hit by Willie Cohen, the junior from Stark, Florida. And he will be very close to a Tennessee first down, but it looks like about a couple of feet short.
Well, this, as the Gators try and stop the run, Levine does a good job of coming out the backside where he's able to get close to the first down. This is a big play here for the Volunteers. 3rd and short.
Manning will sneak it again, and he didn't need much. There's a flag down on the far side of the field.
I think the Gators are going to be called for being offside on this one.
Boy, it is hot down there. Temperature over 100 degrees on the field at kickoff.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And weather has been a factor in this series. Seems like it has rained at some portion of just about every game in the 90s.
Well, I think the Volunteers got away with one as the tight end sort of hitched there, and the officials didn't see it. Could have been called for pulling the Gators offside.
Volunteers from Florida's 34. Late in the first quarter. That is the fullback, Crosby. Mike Moten made the tackle for the Gators. Philip Fulmer has really spread around the wealth when it comes to carrying the football this year. Crosby came in with 9 carries. The other fullback, Bryson, had 16. Levine, the tailback, had 14. Lewis, the other tailback, had 10 carries. They're looking for somebody to step up and run the football for the Vols.
The loss of Jay Graham has really hurt them because they really don't have that guy that they can depend on.
That's the freshman Jamal Lewis getting the call, and Keith Kelsey brings him down at the 25. It appears to be about a yard short of a first down.
David, what we see with this Tennessee running game, they realize that they can't get outside, so they're running right at them and forcing the linebackers to step up and fill the hole. And here we see Keith Kelsey coming in, stopping him short of a first down.
And even though Florida is winning the football game, Tennessee is having more success running the football in the first quarter, which I think most would agree is a key to winning this football game.
Well, Bobby Stoops, I talked to him before the ball game. They wanted to force them to throw the football, and they felt if they could force them to throw the football, they would be victorious. And what they've done the last 3 plays is run the ball right up the center, running right at Mike Moten and Ed Chester with some degree of success. They go power I, give the ball to the fullback.
And Crosby was able to get the first down yardage to the 24. Crosby lines up in front of freshman Jamal Lewis. Manning operating the Tennessee offense. Crosby battered at the line of scrimmage. Kelsey, number 41, the sophomore from Newberry, Florida, says no way.
This time they had the linebackers blitzing right into the hole. This is what you call a run blitz. Every time you blitz, your backers and your safeties doesn't mean that you're trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to hit the gap, not allowing them to split the defensive line.
Tennessee been keeping the ball on the ground. Let's see if Manning doesn't take it up top here pretty soon. Incomplete. Marcus Nash covered up again by Fred Waring. That is quite a battle coming up that right sideline.
Well, Nash has a step on Fred Waring this time, and there's a good throw by Peyton Manning as he throws it up and over, trying to allow him to run under it. But Nash has to leave his feet, and just as he comes down, the ball comes out. Has a chance to make this reception. He's got to do this to help his ball club. We see the ball come out. Never had possession of it.
And now Manning and the Vols are faced with an obvious passing situation. That was their first pass attempt on this particular drive. They are at Florida's 24-yard line, 3rd and 10. Pressure, picked off. Tony George to the 25. George still on his feet. George to the 30. Tony George to the 20. Tony George, touchdown, Florida.
And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. You want to force Peyton Manning to make a mistake, and this is what this defense is predicated on, a very opportunistic defense. Peyton Manning threw that ball when he was under pressure. He shouldn't have thrown it. Tony George read it all the way and then turned into a running back as he picked up his blockers going down the sideline and able to get in for the score.
Oh, and that's what pressure will do to you. Manning, he could feel the presence of Eli Williams on a blitz coming from the right side. And an errant pass to Tony George, and what a run back by George. And what a story. A diabetic, his sister with cerebral palsy, dedicating his play to his sister, and just has made the biggest play of his career.
Well, he's been doing it all year, so we can expect more of this out of Tony George. Well, he's a young man that's playing special teams, and now he has the opportunity to be a starter. He's showing us why they've got confidence in him.
The extra point is good by Collins Cooper, and Tennessee, which did not want to make mistakes again. Turnovers have cost them so severely in this series, have just made a huge one late in the first quarter here at the Swamp. There's a flag on the kick.
You know, David, that's one of the problems when you're a talented quarterback or an athlete like Peyton Manning. Sometimes when you need to just accept the sack and give your team a chance to hit a field goal, you try and make the great play. And when you try and make great plays, it comes back to haunt you.
Personal foul on the defense. Will be administered on the
referee
kickoff.
Dick Burleson, a personal foul against Tennessee on the extra point.
Another look at Peyton Manning. He sees the pressure. Ed Chester and Eli Williams is in his face, and he just tries to force the ball instead of taking the sack, accepting the field goal. That's one of the problems when you got great quarterbacks or great athletes. They will always try and make a great play, where sometimes it's better to accept it. And here we see Tony George just doing a tremendous job of picking up blockers. If I didn't know any better, I think this kid was a running back.
Well, that run by George, the third longest interception return in Florida football history, 88 yards. And watch the former running back, Eli Williams, coming on strong against Manning.
That's a huge play by this Florida defense as we see Eli Williams coming all the way from outside. And you got to have speed to do that. And that's what they got when they moved Eli Williams from offense to defense. A young man at corner that has the speed to make plays.
15 seconds to play in the first quarter. We know in this series that we have seen both teams go on big runs. So it would be advised for Gators not to get too carried away with this early score, but what a great start to the football game for the #1 team, Florida. Levine is down at the 15 as Florida's special teams bury him, led by Marquand Manuel, the freshman. And Peyton Manning goes back to work at his own 15-yard line.
And David, that was a super job by the special teams of being aware. They're kicking off from the 50-yard line. They wanted to kick it high, give their guys a chance to get down and cover it. Instead of kicking the ball out of the end zone, allowing them to come out to the 20, they're able to back them up, stop them on the 15. Good job of execution by special teams.
Now a big test for Peyton Manning. After the George interception, run back for a touchdown. Can Manning keep his composure in the swamp in front of 85,000? Keep it on the ground. Tennessee having some success running the football in the first quarter, but not that time as Mike Peterson makes the tackle. That's the end of the first quarter. Florida with one offensive touchdown and one defensive touchdown thanks to the play of Tony George, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. We'll be right back. To Richardson, an 88-yard interception return of a Peyton Manning pass by Tony George. That's how Florida got its 14 points. Let's go down on the field to Larry Vittel. Larry?
All right, David, you see Tony George not on the field right now. He's cooling off a little. The air conditioner blower to the left there, and also a fan trying to cool Tony down after that 88-yard run. You know, it's interesting. Tony George and Peyton Manning were darn near college teammates. See, he was coming out of Cincinnati, Ohio as a parade All-American. Peyton out of New Orleans as a parade All-American. Both pretty much came down to Florida or Tennessee. Peyton decided to go to Tennessee where the quarterback job was not as crowded as coming off Florida's situation with Danny Werfel as a redshirt freshman. Tony George saw an opportunity in the Gators secondary, and here 4 years later, Tony George picks off Peyton and takes it the distance.
And he couldn't be happier than to be a Florida Gator. Neither could Bobby Stoops right now.
Well, this is a very opportunistic defense. We saw it last year early on, and this year the same thing. They're always around the football. These guys are good athletes and react and clamp down on the football. I mean, I look at the secondary. They're almost like receivers playing defense. All these guys got good hands and great ability to run after the catch.
Well, interestingly, 2 years ago in '95, it was a big defensive play by Lawrence Wright in the first half. The strong safety that turned the game in Florida's favor. And the man that replaced Wright at strong safety, Tony George, has made a huge play in the first half here today. Manning pressured again. This one might be picked off. No, it is out of bounds, incomplete. Fred Weary doing a great job, and Tennessee continues to throw in Weary's direction, and nobody has done that this year, Southern Mississippi or Central Michigan. Well, Tennessee thinks they can connect over there.
Well, what they're hoping is that they can throw this fade route, and if you run the fade route every day, or you go up against the fade route every day in practice against these Florida receivers, I don't know how you expect to be able to beat these guys where they're going up against the best receivers every day in practice.
Peyton Manning is now 2 for 10 and has thrown 6 consecutive incompletions. He's getting tremendous pressure from the Florida defense, and now the clock is about to run out on him, but he just got the snap away. Quick toss, but nothing there for the Volunteers. Elijah Williams, the quarterback, got help from the safety Tico Brown, and Levine had nowhere to go.
Good call by Bobby Stoops to show him the blitz, force him to throw the break off, and then coming up making the tackle. Just great execution by the defense.
Florida's defense played a huge part in last year's victory at Knoxville, intercepting 4 passes, recovering a couple of fumbles. Doing a wonderful job again here today. Pressure's on. Hogue gets it away. Green from the 35. Jaquez to midfield. Oh, man. There's a lot of room out there for Green. Jaquez Green looking for a block. A flag is down on the far side of the field as Green goes down inside the 10-yard line. The flag was thrown well away from the play. But we'll see what it's all about.
If this play is called back because of an illegal hit after the fact, that was a senseless penalty by the Gators because Jaquez had already reversed his field coming back to the right side, and there was no reason to throw the block late.
That was a 45-yard kick. Green almost took it back all the way. Referee Dick Burleson is having a conference with the officiating crew, and I suspect they're going to bring it back. Jaquez Green, who returned.
On the run back, we have holding against the receiving team. That'll be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. In addition, we have a dead ball, personal foul against the receiving team, 15 more yards.
It's a very crucial penalty there, David. You get a great run back like that, and you're in super field position, and you get 2 penalties. And to make it even worse, the second penalty comes after the ball is dead.
Well, that's a tough break for Florida. And Florida back at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium with the football at the midfield stripe. Suffering consecutive penalties on what appeared to be a big punt return by Jaquez Green. The ball is spotted near the 50. And it looks like we have a timeout called by Florida or a penalty.
I think they called Travis McGriff for not having his chin strap buckled, and it's in mind. And when you can score points and put a decent defense on the football field, you're going to win football games. And they've done it even better this year because they've got a tremendous defense.
Gators have used up 2 of their 3 timeouts in the first half. Johnson's pass caught by McGriff, who's doing the dirty work on the inside, it would appear today. He's caught a couple of balls on those little curl-in patterns, knowing that he's going to get belted.
Well, that's one of the things the Gators wanted to do in this ball game. They felt that if they moved McGriff inside, that he would do a better job of running the crossing routes and working one-on-one inside and coming down with the catches. We see him make his second big catch of the ball game.
Travis, not great size, certainly, but tremendous hands and athletic ability. Measure for the first down. You talk about the pressure that Doug Johnson is facing here, but here's a young man that's a professional baseball player, tremendous athlete. It should not really be a surprise that Johnson would be able to come in here and handle this, don't you think?
Well, he's played big-time ball before. He played at Buellholz High School and was very competitive. And when you start playing baseball and playing professionally, even though it's the minor league, you get used to playing in big ball games, baby.
Here's the handoff to Jackson. The Gators really have not been able to establish anything on the ground. That time Jackson did get about 5 or 6. As Torrey Noel, the senior strong safety, number 9 from Memphis, Tennessee, was there to make the tackle. There's one of the more versatile players in college football, Terry Jackson.
Just a little draw play, giving Terry Jackson a chance to find a hole, and does a good job of reading the head of the blockers. But then look at his legs. Watch his leg drive as he picks up another 3-4 yards, and that's what you have to like about a Terry Jackson. There's no such thing as going down easy.
On second down, Jackson again got a pretty good block at the line of scrimmage and is a couple of yards short of a first down. Al Wilson, the Butkus Award candidate, number 27, grabbed him around the ankle and wouldn't let go.
Well, Al Wilson knew that Terry Jackson was going to be off to the races, and he's holding on for dear life, hoping that he can get some teammates and some friends to come in there. Terry Jackson is only a step away from breaking a long one.
This linebacker core for Tennessee is an outstanding group with Leonard Little and Al Wilson, Raynoch Thompson, who's already made several big plays. Good defensive football team, Tennessee. And they've surrendered only 7 points to Florida's offense so far today. The Gators got the other 7 on a pass interception returned by Tony George. Volunteers blitz. Leonard Little wreaking havoc. Johnson is down.
Well, they came at him and caught him with a play-action pass where he had his back turned a little so he didn't see the blitz coming. But he did the smart thing. He didn't try and make a great play. He accepted the sack. There you see Little coming around the outside. Shows you that tremendous speed of Little. But a good job by Doug Johnson of not trying to make a play out of something that's not there.
Well, Leonard Little, number 3 in the all-time sack list for the Volunteers, just got his 21st and a half quarterback sack in his career. Reggie White, the all-time sack leader for the Volunteers at 32. Robbie Stevenson gets off the punt. Jermaine Copeland will run it back. And Copeland is tackled almost by Stevenson. Stevenson slowed him down enough so that help could come. A brilliant return by Copeland on a low line drive kick by Robbie Stevenson.
And that's one of the problems when you don't get it up and give your defenders a chance to get down under it. You see Copeland is able to catch the ball, get turned upfield before you see a blue shirt come into the screen, and just a good job of running. Another good athlete that was a quarterback prior that's moved over to the wide receiver position, and after watching him run with the football, we see why.
He is a good athlete, and his running back punts in place of Terry Fair because of the shoulder injury. It's Copeland returning punts.
Putting pressure on Peyton Manning, getting big hits on him.
Let's go to David.
Manning had a little more time that time, but his receiver fumbled the football, and Tony George has picked it up for Florida. So the Gators have the football again.
There we see the Gators coming in with a big hit. And once again, Peyton Manning has been throttled as Marcus Nash catches the ball. It's running across the field, and he gets hit by Eli Williams. That's the man we just been talking about. Comes in, strips it out. And Tony George, the opportunistic strong safety, is always around the ball. Good job by Eli just slapping the ball out.
Well, George now with an interception and a return for a touchdown and a fumble recovery. And on the play that George made the pick, it's Eli Williams that put the pressure on Peyton Manning to force the bad pass. Johnson in big trouble. He holds on to that football, but Leonard Little got there and in a hurry.
Or they're trying to run a quick screen to Terry Jackson, and Leonard Little, what he does is he fakes and then he comes on a delayed blitz, and Doug Johnson, going through his footwork, doesn't have a chance to get rid of the football.
Little came through there untouched for his second quarterback sack of the game. He was the conference's defensive player of the week for his work last week against the Bruins out in Los Angeles, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Johnson throwing again, stepping up, looking for McGriff, just over his outstretched arm and incomplete.
He had him open just a tad too long as he had Corey Gaines beat going through the middle of the field on a crossing route. This is almost a perfect throw, just a hair too long as we see Travis McGriff not able to come down with it.
Johnson now 6 of 13 for 63 yards. The Gators have not put up much offensively in terms of yardage, but they lead the ball game 14-0. They've had virtually nothing on the ground, and they throw again on third down, going deep again for Jaquez Green. He caught it. Green stays in bounds. No, he stepped out of bounds at the 25. Tiptoeing along the sideline, but Green toe just stepped over the line at the 25. But what a catch by Jaquez Green.
Tremendous concentration as he just totally outran Terry Fair as Doug Johnson went back and heaved the ball as far as he could. And Jaquez went and got it. This is just a foot race where Terry Fair cannot win as he misjudges the football, but great adjustment as he catches the football and come close to toe of being able to sidestep and get back in and inside, but he stepped out of bounds.
Bo Carroll has checked in at the tailback position behind Terry Jackson. Johnson fumbled the snap but fell on the football back at the 27. Step back out of there just a hair too soon.
Looked like he pulled away. Came out early as Zach Sedalis tries to get the ball up, but he had the presence of mind to get back in there and get the football. Good awareness, good reaction.
Lost a couple. It'll be second down. The Gators trying to capitalize on the big pass from Johnson to Green. The play clock was down to almost 0 as Johnson took the snap. Jacquez with the catch inside the 20. Torrey Noel trying to cover him, but boy, you just have to be so careful because Green is going to be by you in a blink of an eye if you're not careful.
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to show the blitz, their man coverage, and they're dropping back in a zone, and you just cannot do that against these Gator receivers because they all do a good job of coming back to meet the football, catching it in their hands, and when Doug Johnson has time to throw the football, he's going to get it there, and he's going to put it on the money.
Third down, the Gators need 2. The tailback, Bo Carroll, has nowhere to go. Tennessee has absolutely smothered Florida's running game in the first half.
Well, they're putting 8 and 9 men in the box, which won't give you room to run with the football. The only way to do anything is you got to break the line of scrimmage. And they're not allowing them to do that, David, to here today.
So the freshman from Norristown, Pennsylvania, had no place to run the football. And for the first time in 1997, Florida is going to try for a field goal. This will be a 37-yarder. Collins Cooper, the junior out of Jacksonville, puts it in the air, and the kick is no good. It is wide left. And the Gators come up empty. So Florida still leading 14-0 after the missed field goal by Collins Cooper from 37 yards out. We'll be back. Passes for Mike Ditka's New Orleans Saints, and Doug Johnson today leading Florida to a 14-0 lead in the second quarter. Peyton Manning, the senior from New Orleans, gives to the tailback Brian Darden, his first carry of the day, and Darden is met by Willie Coens, number 55. Brian Darden, a sophomore from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Let's check with Larry Vitale on the field for an injury update. Larry?
Well, David, Florida will be without Deke Story for the rest of the ball game. The junior left guard out of Winter Park has a subluxation of his shoulder. That is a re-injury that he had before. He just basically popped out, and it takes a while for it to heal. Look for Ryan Kalick at left guard the rest of the way.
All right, well, Florida is pretty deep in the offensive line. But Deke Story has been a guy that has started the first 3 games of this season. Florida putting pressure. Manning throws a strike to Marcus Nash, but Nash is still a couple of yards short of a first down. That'll bring up a third down and about 2.5 for the Volunteers. Tico Brown was there to make the tackle. There's the big fella from Winter Park, really developing nicely as an offensive lineman.
He's done a real good job early on this year, and you hate to see a young man that has worked so hard to get into the starting lineup go down. But when you got a Ryan Kalick as the backup, you're blessed.
Call it 3rd and 3 for Tennessee. Manning dumps it away. Pressure coming from Beauchamp. Peyton Manning dancing around back there in the pocket. Could not find an open receiver, and the Volunteers will have to punt it away again.
And David, once again, the Gators get pressure in the pocket. Peyton Manning has got those happy feet. You'll see his feet moving the whole time. You know, he wants to get out of there. He has nowhere to go. And then here you see Tim Beauchamp. And then once again, he tries to make a great play, and this ball could have been intercepted.
He found an open spot on the turf, fortunately, but it has not been a good first half of football for Peyton Manning. Hogue punting. Jamie Richardson out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So Florida will have the football. They've got good field position, which hasn't happened very often today. They still Johnson and Manning. Johnson's been sacked a couple of times, but Manning has been hit 8 times and hurried 6 other times and has thrown 1 interception. But on Manning, he had a great Last year, he had a tremendous second half in the game. Bad first half. 2 years ago here at Florida Field, a great first half and a bad second half. He has not been able to put the whole package together. And again, it's happened to him here in the first half today.
And it's important that you play 4 quarters of good football, and he has not been able to do that. Hafiz Kareem came wide open that time, and Doug Johnson was not able to get it out there as he was isolated on Steve Johnson. And he gets him beat. He's running a corner route. Good job of sticking with the route. He's got a step, and this ball's just slightly underthrown.
There's Johnson, the third team cornerback over there, plays behind Goodrich and Griffin, a couple of very good ones. Johnson, a junior out of Powder Springs, Georgia, the Atlanta metropolitan area. Johnson throwing it deep for Richardson again, and Jamie Richardson had the ball taken away. Terry Fair picked his pocket. Fair is down at the 22. Very clever play by the senior from Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, that was a ball that Jamie Richardson had in his possession, and Terry Fair was able to wrestle it away. This is a ball that should have been caught. Doug Johnson does a good job. He sees pressure. He gets outside of the pocket using that athletic ability and is able to get the ball downfield to Jamie Richardson. Just a good release as he squares his shoulders up and gets as much as he can on the football. And here Jamie Richardson has the catch. It's not able to come down with it as Terry Fair takes it away.
I don't think Fair knew where the football was and kind of fell into his lap.
Yeah, had no idea where the football. That's one where Jamie Richardson's got a plan to come back to the football because it's slightly underthrown.
Fair now has 8 career interceptions as a volunteer. Manning throwing, pressured again, threw behind the receiver. There is a flag thrown. Van Bullard, the sophomore who's playing his first year of college football, a partial qualifier a year ago, really putting the pressure on the Tennessee quarterback.
Young man out of Live Oak, Florida, that he's determined to make a name for himself.
Defense lined up both sides. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Another penalty against Florida. Gator defense, what can you say about the job they've done in the first half? Bobby Stoops' troops have shut down this Tennessee offense. Just over 5.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Florida 14, Tennessee nothing. Manning pressured again. He finds Copeland at the 35 for a Tennessee first down.
We get great pressure by Mike Moten and Thaddeus Bullard. And here Peyton that wants to go outside to his tailback, but realizes that he can't get the ball there. The Gators are in a good defense to stop that play and is able to come off to his secondary receiver, Copeland, and pick up the first down.
Manning brings the Volunteers up to the football at the 34. The give to the tailback, no place to run. Brian Darden is hit by Keith Kelsey behind the line. Devon Kearse also went flying through there. And a loss of a couple for Tennessee.
Well, you had Keith Kelsey as well as Johnny Rutledge. They heard the play in the huddle as you see the blue shirts come into your picture. Just a great job by that entire defensive front line of getting penetration and knocking the tailback back.
Neither one of these football teams has been able to establish much on the ground.
Well, we've got two good defensive football teams here. We've been raving about their offense, but they're pretty solid defensively as well.
There's a quick toss. The pass caught by Derek Edmonds. Pickup of about 4 or 5 to the 39. Eli Williams was there to make the tackle for Florida.
Just trying to run a little flanker screen out here, trying to get the ball into the receiver's hands, but as you see, Peyton Manning getting rid of the ball quickly because Johnny Rutledge is in his face. Able to complete the play, but not for a big gain.
And that might have to be what Tennessee goes to here because Manning just has not had time to find receivers.
Well, you can expect him to go to the quick passing because he doesn't have time to take that 5-step drop.
There's another short drop and another completion. Marcus Nash across the 50 to the 47-yard line, 46-yard line of Florida. Manning taking a quick step or two back and firing.
Well, Peyton Manning that time is actually throwing the ball to the side of the blitz, so he sees the blitz coming. He's able to get rid of it before Tony George is able to get there.
Marcus Nash, the number 5 receiver in Tennessee football history, came in here with 116 catches. Manning a little deeper drop, and he's got a man wide open. And the pass caught again by Edmonds. And Tennessee picks up another first down as Johnny Rutledge stops Edmonds at the 31.
What the Volunteers are doing, they're catching the Gators in a zone defense. They're backing off, giving him room. And when Peyton Manning has time, he's just too good a quarterback to miss these kind of passes as you see him completing the ball out in the flat to Edmonds.
Edmonds, a couple of key receptions on this drive. Manning and the Volunteer offense has Florida back on their heels a bit. Quick toss, Gators all over Nash, but he somehow breaks free. Marcus Nash to the 22.
Well, the Gators was in good position on that particular play. They were not able to come down with it as Javon Curse comes in for the tackle, but they read it. They've made him throw the ball in a hurry. It's a 3-step drop, so you know you're not going to get there, and they come off. But this is where you've got to make the tackles. Javon Curse gets the first hand on him, and here comes Ed Chester to make the tackle.
Curse and Brown, Tico Brown, both over pursued a little bit. Ran past the play. Tennessee's best drive of the day. Fumble though, but the Volunteers have fallen on it. Brian Darden recovered his own fumble.
Brian Darden was able to get back on the football, but that fumble was caused by Mike Moten getting penetration in the pocket, and it was a bad exchange because of the penetration by Mike Moten. As you see, he's trying to get him the football, but Moten drives the tackle back into the back, not giving him a chance to put the ball away.
And the Vols were fortunate not to turn the ball over again. They have used a timeout with 1:40 to play in the second quarter. And Peyton Manning, Jamie Richardson caught a pass from Doug Johnson for the Gators. Made it 7-0. Tony George picked off a Peyton Manning pass, ran back 89 yards now officially for a touchdown. But there has been no scoring since. Tennessee, however, threatening late in the second quarter. It is 3rd down and 2. Manning's pass is caught. A great catch. Copeland pulled it in with one arm.
One arm snag, or one hand snag by Jermaine Copeland on a rifle from Peyton Manning.
Manning finally puts the Vols into the end zone with a beautiful throw, and probably an even better catch by Jermaine Copeland, a former quarterback.
Well, that was a good throw. As you see, Peyton Manning trying to move Tico Brown, and he's able to move him with just that little fake. And Copeland does a good job of catching the football and getting into the end zone.
So Jermaine Copeland puts the Volunteers on the scoreboard, and that is a very important score for Tennessee. They were down 14-0, but they drove the ball down the field. Peyton Manning and Jermaine Copeland connecting to make it a 14-6 football game with the extra point still to come.
Timeout, Tennessee.
And Tennessee will use another timeout to talk it over. We'll be back to the Swamp after this. Gators are on the scoreboard. A 22-yard pass from Peyton Manning to Jermaine Copeland. And now Jeff Hall attempts the extra point. And the junior from Winchester, Tennessee, hammers it through. So Tennessee now picking up momentum late in the second quarter. The Volunteers have completely shut down Florida's running game. Still 1:33 to play in the first half of the game. High kick, Thad Bullard will fair catch it. He fumbled it. It's loose. And let's see who fell on it. Jeff Hall just punching the ball up high, hoping for just what happened. One of the up guys would mishandle it, and Bullard did. But Rod Frazier, the freshman fullback, was able to fall on the football.
Well, Thad Bullard did everything right that time except catch the football. Usually when you get a high kick like that, the first thing you want to do is signal fair catch, which gives you the opportunity to catch the ball without getting hit. And there, he did all of that, but he didn't catch the football, David.
But the Gators got a break as Frazier alertly fell on it. Bullard says, don't put me in that spot. I'm not supposed to be making fair catches out here. Plenty of time for Florida's offense to get cranking. They're throwing deep again for Green. And Jacquez, a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch at the 25 of Tennessee. Man, what a throw. And a great job by Green to keep his feet inbounds.
Well, Green is just aware at all times of where he's at on the sideline as he adjusts to the football, but still able to keep his feet in bounds. Just a perfect throw and catch. And this is where you want to throw the football if you're a quarterback. You want to throw it high and outside, and that gives that defender no chance of making the play as Gerald Griffin was lost.
I don't know where else Doug Johnson could have put that ball any better.
That was a superb throw by Doug Johnson.
And Green now is over 120 yards in receiving yardage today with 5 catches. Florida right there again. The pass caught by Green again. Inside the 20 at the 19. Johnson is there to stop him. Clock continues to run now with 1:15 to play in the first half. Florida, on their last possession, missed a 37-yard field goal. And Steve Spurrier doesn't have much patience with missed field goals. Look for the Gators to try their best to put it in the end zone here with a minute now to play in the quarter.
Well, Steve makes no bones about going for it on 4th down. He feels that he has the weapons.
Ooh, McGriff found a seam in there, but the ball was thrown behind him.
He had him open. That's one Doug Johnson would like to have back because he had him wide open as he's going up against Terry Noel. But those are the kind of plays that you've got to make if you want to beat this Tennessee football team. This ball's got to be thrown inside, and it's just a tad behind him. And McGriff goes back, gets a finger on it to keep it from being intercepted.
Big 3rd down play from the 20. 3rd and 5.
You can expect the blitz here.
Tennessee coming all out. Johnson had time. He hits Jacquez Green. 6 points for the Gators. And boy, was that quick or what? They hit like lightning after Tennessee scored.
And that's what we expect from this Gator football team is that when someone scores, you've got to come right back and answer. And the Gators have done that as Jacquez Green beats Gerald Griffin as he catches a turn in and is able to shake the tackle and get into the end zone, David.
That is a sign of a lot of character right there. To come back and score that quickly. Johnson got good protection against the blitz, and Green did the rest.
Well, he's just such an elusive receiver that very seldom will that first guy be able to bring him down after the catch. As you see him catch the ball, turn up, get into the end zone.
Collins Cooper with the extra point attempt. This one is no good. Florida's kicking problems continue, and Steve Spurrier along the sideline. Got to be shaking his head.
And there you see his teammate patting him on the back, telling him it's okay.
Finish in the first half. Tennessee scoring, Florida coming back 48 seconds later and answering Tennessee's first touchdown of the day. Mark Levine. Got away from Sims, another Gator. And Levine, a nice return out to the 31. Larry Vitale on the sideline. What have you got?
Well, David, that touchdown pass to Jacquez Green looked exactly like the one to Jamie Richardson in that Florida put 3 receivers to one side. It was on the left side before, it was on the right side here. And Doug Johnson reads the defense and sees which way they go. That's where he picks out his target. This time it was Quez Green. Last time Richardson. Both times 6 for the Gators.
All right, thanks, Larry. And Tennessee with Peyton Manning back there, they've got to feel like they might have a chance to do something before the end of the quarter.
Well, last series, what the Gators did, they played a lot of zone, and that's why Tennessee was able to move the ball down the field.
Manning rolling left, throwing on the run. Marcus Nash makes the catch at the 42. He stops the clock, stepping out of bounds there. Weary made the tackle. 29 seconds to play in the first half.
Well, this is where these great quarterbacks start to earn their scholarships because, you know, usually in the pros you say earn your money, but this is where you earn your scholarships. Is you're given the opportunity to move your team down the field in the last 2 minutes and try and put points on the board.
And Tennessee does have a place kicker, Jeff Hall, who can hit a long field goal. And I'm sure that Manning and company are not even thinking about 3 just yet. They still have 1 timeout left. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Big Ed Chester.
And that's what you got to have in the middle of that defensive line. It's 2 big tackles that's going to get pressure, push the pocket back, and when the quarterback goes to throw the football, you get your hands up and you try and time it, and Ed Chester does it perfect as you see him swat the ball down.
Well, Chester is one of the Florida players that had a few choice words about Tennessee and its quarterback Peyton Manning this week in that psychological war that we talked about earlier, Nash.
And if you remember last year, Ed Chester made a similar play that turned into an interception for James Bates.
Florida coming with the blitz again. Manning steps up, throws it incomplete, intended for Benji Schuler. When he heard footsteps, Johnny Rutledge putting pressure on Manning. And then Schuler heard the footsteps of Gators over the middle of the field.
Well, he had Tony George coming in a hurry, and Benji Schuler was not able to come down to grabs. You'll see Johnny Rutledge coming into your pitcher. And it's tough for a quarterback, you know, in fairness to Peyton Manning, to try and get the ball off and be able to hit your target when you're having to move around that park. You're not able to set your feet and throw the ball.
Well, I don't think that Manning has been sacked in the first half, but he has been under extreme pressure from the beginning. Now 3rd down. Florida pressures Manning again. He gets rid of the football, and the screen is set up nicely. Bryson closed out quickly, though, by the quickness of that Florida defense in Tony George. Only 6 seconds now, 5, and the clock is running. Tennessee does have a timeout left, but apparently they're not going to use it. And that is the end of the first half as Peyton Manning and the Volunteers head to the locker room trailing in the swamp 20-7. Well, we expected a great football game, and we have certainly, with #1 ranked Florida trying to protect its home field. The Gators have just about been unbeatable here in the 90s, only 2 losses at home. Tennessee figures to give a big challenge in the second half. And Levine getting them off to a good start with another solid kick return. Tennessee has done a good job returning kicks today. And Levine brings them out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Peyton Manning, whose numbers in the first half were rather unimpressive out of the shotgun. Only 2 out of 5 under center, 11 of 19. Florida was able to put a lot of pressure on Manning. He did not suffer any quarterback sacks, but he was under pressure throughout the first half. Tennessee trying to establish itself on the ground, and running back Jamal Lewis, the freshman, is stuffed by Johnny Rutledge.
Young man out of Belgrade Central does a good job of filling the hole, and that's what linebackers are supposed to do. Read the play and then fill the hole. As you see Johnny Rutledge coming into your pitcher, putting his headgear square in the numbers, knocking down Jamal Lewis for no gain.
Second down and 12. Manning's pass is caught, but only a couple of yards. Give him 3. Peerless Price. That pass might have been deflected up at the line of scrimmage by big Tim Beauchamp.
And that's the kind of pass that the Gators will give him all day. If he's going to throw the ball to his wide receivers for a gain of a yard or 3 yards, you'll let him throw that all day.
Manning looking at 3rd down and 8. Intercepted. Fred Weary. Fred Weary, the senior from Jacksonville, stepping in front of the receiver. He has played Very sound fundamental football all day, Nat, and steps up with a big play.
And that's a young man that, if you go at him too many times, you're going to get burned. They've went at him, they've thrown the ball in front of him, they tried to show him a deep route and throw the curl, and he stepped right in front of it, comes up with another big play.
Well, it looked like Manning was saying, I thought my receiver was going one way, and he went the other. We'll take another look.
Well, he does so much faking, trying to hold the weak safety, and it gives the corner a chance to react and read the play.
Second interception of the day thrown by Peyton Manning. Johnson under pressure. His pass is incomplete. Great pressure put on by Tennessee.
Tennessee came with the blitz up the middle, but what they did that time, they gave Johnson a chance to get rid of the football, even though Little stepped up, was they blocked down. Everybody blocked down and let the outside guy go free, which is good, sound, fundamental football, allowing the quarterback to get the ball off, even though they were not able to complete it, as Terry Fair came in and was able to break the pass up.
Excellent play by the cornerback. One-on-one coverage with Jaquez Green. Anytime you can make a play on that young man, you've really done something. Green had a tremendous first half. Johnson looking for Green again. Jump ball situation, and who's got it? Tennessee has made the interception. Steve Johnson wrestling the football away from Quez Green.
And they both had their hands on the football, and Steve Johnson showed man-to-man coverage and then backed off where he had good vision on the quarterback and was able to go up and wrestle it away from Jaquez as he's able to pull it away on the way down. Tried to throw a little fade route against the bump and run, but he backed off at the snap of the ball, and here he just takes it away for the interception.
Quez has not lost many jump ball situations, but that time Johnson got the best of him. Ball on Sunshine Network is brought to you. Manning in the swamp. His team trailing Florida 20-7. Manning faced with a third down and 16 from his own 29 early in the third quarter. There are the numbers. He's been under fire by that Gator front line all day. Boy, Mike Moten just went right by his man. Manning throwing off his back foot and throws it incomplete. He had no chance because of the pressure from Mike Moten.
Well, he came out of that pocket in a sprint because he saw pressure coming from Mike Moten and Javon Curse, and he was not able to square his shoulders and make a good throw as Mike Moten's being grabbed by the offensive tackle. As you can see, he's not able to get anything on the football as he tried to get the ball to Marcus Nash.
Tennessee has to punt. That Florida defense, what a job they have done holding Tennessee to this point to only 7. Florida's got an all-out rush on, and Hogue got it away. Great kick. Green back there all by himself. So the Gators had the punt block play on, and that left Jaquez Green nowhere to run. 47-yard punt, beautiful kick under pressure by Chris Hogue, who seems to have done a lot towards cementing the punting job for Tennessee here today. Well, join us every Sunday at 12 noon. Florida football highlights with head coach Steve Spurrier. This week, the coach is going to review the matchup against Tennessee. Look ahead to next Saturday's game against Kentucky. That's Florida football highlights with the head ball coach Steve Spurrier, Sundays at noon on Sunshine Network. Fred Taylor, by far the most serious ground attack by the Gators all day.
And what the Gators did, they said, we're going on a quick count. We're not going to give him a chance to get set. A little quick pitch to Fred Taylor, and good blocking at the point of attack. As you see a little cross block, and he gets outside with Terry Jackson out front, taking on the linebacker. And look at the blocking job done by Jaquez Green.
He just basically got between him, the defender and the ball carrier, just kept his body in there.
And that's what you like about these Gator receivers. They don't only catch the football, they block downfield and they help out those running backs.
The toss sweep again. Taylor got another good block. High stepping over the 35 to the 33 before Jeff Coleman, number 92, a junior from Gaffney, South Carolina, makes the tackle for the Vols. Florida has come out this sequence to run the football. They have not done that all day. They were minus 25 at the half.
And that's big, as we talked about starting the second half, is that they've got to run the football and look like they've found something on this left side of the defense that they like, running behind Mo Collins and big Aaron Kinney.
They keep running it right again. Taylor found a crease in there behind a big guard, Cheston Blackshear. Al Wilson, the linebacker, there to make the tackle. Couple of tough yards for Taylor. The ball is going to be spotted at about the 30, so the Gators need about 1.5 yards on third down.
Good tough support by Al Wilson as he comes upfield, forcing the ball back in, but good tough running by Fred Taylor as he sees that he can't get outside, turns it up, gets as much as he can, coming up third and 2, excuse me.
Penalty flags flying everywhere, and it looks like Tennessee going to argue that they were drawn offsides. I'm not sure if Dick Burleson's buying that. Steve pleading his case. And it looks like he'll win this one.
Dead ball foul, offside, defense.
Well, it looked like the line judge came in and was trying to talk the referee out of that one, but they're going to stay with it. A 5-yard mark off against Tennessee, and Florida picks up the first down the easy way. Now at the Volunteer 25-yard line. Johnson from the shotgun. Green is the target, deep, incomplete. Terry Fair, good coverage.
Decided that he's not going to let Jaquez Green get behind him, so he's backing off, giving plenty of room, which makes it tough to complete this ball in the back of the end zone.
Green has had a busy day. He's already caught 7 passes. And there's a little confusion now as Gator players are scrambling to find a spot on the line. Green winds up wide to the left. Ball just snapped in time. Johnson going to get belted, but he delivers a strike. It is dropped by Jamie Richardson, however, at the 15-yard line. Well, he got hit from the blind side by Torrey Noel. Doug gets up.
There's no one assigned to block Noel as he came from out over the receiver on a delayed blitz. Johnson never sees him from the backside, and he's fortunate enough to get rid of the football before he can get there, just a little high. Richardson not able to come down with the catch.
Doug Johnson now 1 for 5 in the second half, has missed his last 4 passes. Now third down and 10 at the Tennessee 25-yard line. On the draw play to Fred Taylor. He got 4 to the 21 before Wilson took him down. And Steve Spurrier did not waste too much time considering his options. He's going to go right out to the field goal team, even though it's been a tough day for these fellas. Missed one 37-yard field goal. They've missed an extra point, but they're going to try and get 3 on the board here.
Well, I think Steve knows that going down the remainder of the season, you've got to get your field goal kicker. You've got to find one, and the only way is to give him opportunities in the heat of the battle. So Collins Cooper gets another shot at it here.
Backup quarterback Billy Young is the holder. 38-yard attempt from the right hash mark. And the kick is good. And the crowd erupts in applause for the 38-yard field goal by Collins Cooper. He says, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you got to be happy for that young man. He missed what was really a chip shot and then came back and missed the extra point. But here's what it's all about, you know, handling the pressure and being able to rebound and make the play when called upon.
Boy, that one was close to being wide left as the other one was, but Cooper got it in there, and the Gators take a 16-point lead in the Swamp. Lone deep man for Tennessee. A couple of players flank him up about 15 yards to the right and the left. And now Stevenson lets it fly. Levine going to bring it out from 2 yards deep. This time out across the 20, but no more. Manuel was in there along with Reggie Davis. Now down to the sideline, Larry Vittel.
David, part of coaching is knowing when to yell at him and knowing when to pat him on the back. After Collins Cooper missed the extra point that left it at 20-7, his teammates were patting him on the helmet on the way off, telling him it was going to be okay. And when he looked to the sideline, instead of seeing a head coach going ballistic, he saw applause from head coach Steve Spurrier. That encouragement might have made the difference in getting that field goal inside the right upright.
Well, the head ball coach knows that a game like this could come down to the young man's right leg.
Very much so.
Manning, two-step drop, trying to hit his favorite target. Great catch by Nash, out of bounds at the 50-yard line. And you can't cover better than Fred Wary did.
Well, Fred Wary was stride for stride, perfect location, but Manning did a super job of just dropping the football in the basket. There's a perfect throw up and over. Ball's thrown high and outside, just where you want to put it.
Well, this is why Tennessee is never out of it with playmakers like Manning and Nash. Great coverage by Wary, but those two great ball players just made it happen. Big hole up the middle, and Levine bouncing off Gators' shirts is down finally at the 40.
They were able to find a seam in the defense that time as Levine hit the hole real quick. Linebackers didn't have a chance to fill. It was into the secondary. Good tough running after getting in the secondary. Good block up front. And there you see Mike Harris. He's got to wrap up. Can't just put a shoulder in there. You got to hit him, put the head in the numbers, and wrap up. Good form tackling.
Tennessee moving the football out from their own 24-yard line now to the Florida 39. On a big pass play by Manning and a nice run by Levine. Manning wants timeout. The swamp roaring, and Manning unable to get the signals straight to his teammates, so he'll take one of their 3 timeouts in the second half.
They're the greatest women water skiers in the world, fighting to reach the top by displaying their amazing acts of agility, exhibiting strength and skill while skiing into the face of danger. Women of Water Sports from Marine World, California, Sunday at 11 on Sunshine.
Hi, I'm James Bates. You're watching Breakfast with the Gators on Sunshine Network.
A packed house at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. This place has put more than 82,000 people in it. 40 consecutive games. That is a remarkable record. They love their Gators, they love their football, and they love the score right now in the swamp with number 1 Florida leading number 4 Tennessee 23-7. And Tennessee, by using that timeout a moment ago, now has only 1 timeout left in the second half. We still have 7:40 to play in the third quarter. Here's the pitch to the freshman Lewis, and he is wrapped up by Peterson. Well, the Vols were hoping that maybe this youngster would break out today, but so far it has not happened. He's got a world of talent. When you got pursuing defense like Florida's got out there, it's not that easy, is it?
Well, one of the things you cannot do against this Florida football team is run east and west. You've got to try and run between the tackles because they've got so much team speed and quickness, it's hard to get outside, David.
At Chester. Getting looked at by the medical staff. That's Dr. Pete Indelicato taking a look. Manning rolling to his left. Throwing back to the right side. A shoestring grab by Lewis. He's dangerous in the open field, but he's knocked down at the 36. Wayne Thomas, the middle linebacker, the senior, waited patiently to get his opportunity to start behind James Bates. There to make the stop.
Well, here's another example of this Gator speed because they do a super job of setting up this screen, and then watch Dwayne Thomas coming into your picture as he was chasing the quarterback and turned and was able to react and make the tackle, holding them to a very short game.
Tennessee looking at another big third down play. From the Florida 36, Manning, a short drop. It is incomplete. Two blue shirts had a chance at it. Javon Curse, Eli Williams.
Well, Eli Williams actually had it hit him in his hands, but the ball was deflected off Javon Curse. This is one that, you expect to see Elijah Williams catch. He's just got such good hands, and I would love to have seen him pick that off and then watch that running back ability.
Philip Fulmer is going to go for it on 4th down and 7 from the Florida 35. Big play with 6:04 to play in the third quarter. Blitz, incomplete. Gators take the football.
I love what Bobby Stoops did there. He showed blitz with Tony George, and just at the snap of the ball, he backed out and throws John Xnitis from the other side, not allowing Peyton Manning to throw the football on timing. Just a super chess match by Bobby Stoops as he brings John Xnitis. Super play, super job. Elijah Williams all over the receiver. Good job of seeing everything develop in the backfield by Elijah Williams as he comes off his receiver and makes the play.
Bobby Stoops, Tico Brown having a word, congratulatory pat on the back by the defensive coordinator. Keep it on the ground with Fred Taylor. He's beginning to find a little room out there. Taylor to the 45 before Noel makes the tackle.
Well, not only is Fred Taylor starting to find his way, but also that big offensive line of the Gators. You've got Zach Pillar, Ryan Cayley, Wiley Rich, Cheston Blackshear, and Mo Collins. They're coming off the ball and taking control of the line of scrimmage, David.
All right, Nat, let's send it down on the field. Larry Vittel.
Okay, David, Elijah Williams cramping up a little bit, getting attention. Hopefully he'll get in some fluids and be okay. Ed Chester's re-injured his right foot. His ankle, not the foot that had the pin in it. They are retaping the ankle and hoping Chester will be okay as well.
The Gators let Terry Jackson play football. He has not touched the football much today. A versatile back, brings it out across the 50. First down Florida at the Tennessee 47. Jackson, he can play tailback, fullback. Could probably line him up on the other side of the ball, play a couple of defensive positions as well.
And that's something that Tennessee is not used to seeing. The fullback getting the football, and when Terry Jackson's in there, he's just like an extra running back.
Doug Johnson confused, and Steve Spurrier also looking to call timeout. Wes Green found himself in the wrong spot as the Gators came to the line of scrimmage. So the Gators burn one of their 3 timeouts.
Hiya, son.
Hi, Dad.
I'm off to work now.
Okay, Dad.
With complete 24-hour service, Geico Auto Insurance starts working on your claim immediately.
Be careful with her.
We'll get you back in your car quickly, so you won't have to rely on alternate transportation. Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, they've been waiting for this one for a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months, if not an entire year. Florida-Tennessee has become quite the rivalry in the Southeastern Conference. And the Gators have won 4 in a row against the Vols and have a 16-point lead in an effort to try and make it 5 straight. Fred Taylor breaking free. Taylor knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line of Tennessee.
Big block by Zach Pillars and Ryan Cayley as Fred Taylor comes out the back door. Just good blocking at the point of attack. There you see Terrence Ross, tight end, does a good job of fending off the linebacker. Excellent run by Taylor.
Well, Nat, you said it at halftime. If Florida can establish the run, that would be critical because in past games, big games like this one against Tennessee, their ability to run in the second half and use the clock has been critical.
Well, that's important, especially against a team with the comeback ability of the Tennessee Ball Club, you've got to be able to run the football.
Taylor does again for about 3 more to the 20. Thompson, Noel combined on the stop last year in Knoxville. Gators broke out to a 35-0 lead. Tennessee came storming back. And it was Florida's ability in the fourth quarter to grind out about a 6-minute drive and eat up the clock. That was a very important factor in holding on to victory last year.
Plus that wears down that defense. You know, those guys have been on the field for a long period of time, and whenever you could wear them down, makes it a little bit easier in the fourth quarter.
Johnson swarmed, got away somehow, and Doug is headed for the sideline. He got hammered pretty good by Al Wilson, the junior linebacker, and Florida fans over there thought maybe personal foul should be thrown, but flag was not, or was it?
Well, that was pretty close. But I like what he does here. He feels the pressure. He gets out of there. You know, he doesn't try and do anything spectacular. He just tries to get out of bounds, not turn the ball over.
Doug's feet were clearly inbounds when Wilson knocked him from behind. Third down. 3 minutes 55 to play in the third. Johnson, McGriff fell down. Travis McGriff was all alone there at the 10-yard line, and it looked like his feet just got tangled up.
Feet got tangled up. Could have gotten tangled up with Harris, number 27, as he came wide open in the middle of the field. Excuse me, that's Al Wilson, not Harris. He came wide open through the middle of the field and just got his feet tied up.
Well, you couldn't really see what happened to Travis prior to the trip. But the Gators, in any event, are looking at about a 40-yard field goal try by Collins Cooper. He's already hit one earlier from 38, missed one from 37. He's got plenty of leg, and this one is good.
And maybe that's what we needed for Steve Spurrier to have confidence in him. The field goal before this one, it has developed this man's confidence where he can come in and make it happen, as you see him kick the second field goal of the day.
Well, Spurrier says he doesn't particularly care for field goals, but he's glad to have that 19-point lead right now, I guarantee you.
You don't get in this kind of shape running on a treadmill. You do it with strength exercise, and I do it with a Bowflex. You know, if you're not working out with strength training right now, you need to. Because if you want to lose weight, you got to add the muscle, and that's why you need a Bowflex machine. It's like nothing else you've ever tried before. We've got over 60 exercises you can do on a Bowflex. You're never going to get bored. You can do a full workout in 20 minutes on a Bowflex machine. You're not going to believe how effective Bowflex is the first time you get on it. Bowflex may look a little different, but that's because we designed it to function correctly. Bowflex uses power rod resistance. Bowflex power rods are so effective that Bowflex guarantees results in 6 weeks or your money back. Try going to the gym and getting a guarantee on results. You won't find it. If you call and get our free videotape, you're going to see an effective workout and see how easy and quick and fun working out with Bowflex is.
Florida special teams going crazy out there. They are pumped up after the 40-yard field goal by Collins Cooper. By the way, a career best for him. Of course, it's only his third. He hit one last year against Alabama in the championship game, and has hit 2 here today.
Well, on a Spurrier coach football team, 2 field goals is big.
In one game? Are you kidding? Bobby Stevenson takes Goodrich all the way out of the end zone, and the Volunteers will have to settle for the football at their own 20. High fives for Stevenson.
And you know,
junior from Bradenton.
Not to cut you off, Dave, but you know, that's what you look for when you got 2 evenly matched teams like this with great offense, great defense. The special teams is what normally come up big, and here today the Gators special teams have come up very large.
And the running game has turned in Florida's favor in the second half as Fred Taylor has carried the ball for individually 83 yards, 82 of those in the second half. Now let's see what Peyton Manning can come up with here late in the third quarter. He's got his man wide open. That is Schuler out at the 34-yard line. Tico Brown, the free safety, is there to make the tackle. That's Schuler's first catch of the day.
Well, that play there looked like a busted assignment by the strong safety as he went out to the flat area instead of sitting in the hook zone. And Manning was able to find Schuler, Benji Schuler, for the reception.
Peyton Manning just hit the 200-yard mark in passing. Well, last year against Florida, he set a school record. Almost 500 yards. But his team didn't win. Tony George is there to deflect it, almost intercept it. It is incomplete.
Well, one of the things that I continue to notice, David, is that Peyton Manning is trying very hard to move Tico Brown, and in the process, it throws off the timing as you see Tony George running with Benji Schuler all the way, and Schuler saves the interception as he pulls Tony George away.
Nice takedown by the collar by Benji Schuler.
Well, you know, in high school, Benji Schuler was a wrestler.
He looked like one there. Good takedown. It's second and 10 from the 34. Manning has Mccullough. Look out. If he breaks free, he's gone. Weary trying to run him down from behind. Mccullough dragging Fred Weary to the 8. Well, the big guy does not have great speed, but he's 6'3" and over 200 pounds. And Mccullough once again coming up big against Florida.
Big, strong receiver that has the ability to break tackles as he catches a little slant route as Peyton Manning buys time, hits him on the move. Tico Brown's not able to come down with the catch, a little arm tackling, but Fred Weary, using that tremendous speed, comes into your picture and finally is able to wrestle him down short of the goal line.
Mccullough with 4 catches on the day. That gives him now against Florida 14 out of his 45 career receptions.
And this is where the defense has to come up big.
Manning ran out of room and just had to get rid of the football. Number 11, Thaddeus Bullard, was in chase. It'll be second down and goal from the Florida 8.
Gators dropped back in his zone defense and was able to get pressure with that front 4. Good job of forcing Peyton Manning to move around, move outside of the pocket, and then finally to throw the ball away to avoid the sack.
Tennessee scored its only touchdown so far in the second quarter when Manning hit Jermaine Copeland on this same side of the field. And Florida has taken a timeout. So now both teams will have only 1 timeout remaining, and we still have 17 minutes and 37 seconds of football to be played here. Florida's defense a little out of sync. Bobby Stoops will talk it over.
Get ready to pack your bags for the Sprint International Golf Getaway. Sprint and Sunshine Network want to send you and a friend to Colorado to see some of the world's top golfers compete at the prestigious Castle Pines Golf Club. To enter, send us a 3x5 card with your name, address, phone number, and date of birth, or register online at sunshinenetwork.com and receive a special offer on a high-quality Sprint 900 MHz cordless phone. The Sprint International Golf Getaway, brought to you by Sunshine Network and Sprint, where it all comes together.
1995 in the Gators Volunteer Series of the 90s. Peyton Manning had led Tennessee to a big first-half lead, but watch the game change on the big hit by Lawrence Wright. Lawrence Wright turns the game around. The Gators go on and score 48 unanswered points and defeat the Volunteers 62-37 in Gainesville. Well, that was 2 years ago when Lawrence Wright turned the football game around. Florida scored 48 unanswered points. The Gators are leading here today, but Tennessee is threatening second down and goal at Florida's 8-yard line. late in the third quarter. Touchdown, Copeland. Jermaine Copeland has caught 2 Manning passes, and the Volunteers have cut the lead to 26-13.
Well, Jermaine Copeland is able to beat Tico Brown, but they dropped back in a zone coverage, and both linebackers overran the play. Neither one was in the zone where they should have been inside. You had both Javon Curse and Johnny Rutledge overrun the play.
Copeland's second touchdown reception. His 4th of the season. Hall's extra point is good, and it is now a 2-touchdown game, with Florida leading now 26-14. Let's see once again, see if we can figure out how Copeland came so open in the secondary.
Well, he's outside. He's running a crossing route, and they pass him off. Had to be some confusion in the defense because the cornerback passes him off to the strong safety who's coming out, and he's not able to fall back inside and make the play.
Well, the left corner on that play was Tyrone Baker, who backs up Elijah Williams. Williams was not on the field because he's having some problems with leg cramps, as is Tico Brown. Let's see if Larry Vittel can fill us in with more information. Larry?
Well, David, not only Elijah Williams battling cramps, but now Tony George as well. That's 2 starters in the Florida secondary not there for that touchdown throw by Peyton Manning. Those guys have got to get fluids. The Florida offense has to eat up some clock. I think Florida is moving people around in the secondary, a big part of Tennessee's quick scoring drive.
Tennessee just put together a very impressive drive, 80 yards, 5 plays, only a minute 12. You see what Manning can accomplish when he gets it going. And there's still 2:32 to play in the third quarter. Jamie Richardson going to bring it out from the goal line. Richardson down at the 21 as the tackle is made by Fred White. Well, Florida, which led 26-7 just a couple of minutes ago, has been hit quickly and hard by Peyton Manning and the Tennessee offense. Catch exciting women's volleyball action on Wednesday as the Florida Gators travel to Tallahassee for a matchup against the Florida State Seminoles. Game time is set for 7 p.m. And it'll be live right here on Sunshine Network. Mary Wise's team ranked number 2 in the nation. Fred Taylor, some tough yards across the 25 out to about the 27.
Good tough yardage, good running, a little jitterbugging by Taylor as Stu Johnson comes in to make the saving tackle.
Well, the last Tennessee touchdown late in the second quarter was answered by Florida 48 seconds later with a touchdown. We got a mass substitution on the front line, or offensive line for Florida. Second string all the way across the front. Taylor breaks to the outside. Fred Taylor across the 40, hit and dragged down from behind at the 45 by Gaines.
For a man with that big frame, 222 pounds, he can really pick him up and lay him down once he gets outside. You see him come out the back door, comes out the back door, picks up his blocking, turns upfield, and Corey Gaines is fortunate enough to get him by the collar, drag him down after the big run for the first down.
And that offensive line doing a good job.
Well, Zach Zadelis is probably the second strongest guy on this football team, and Coach Jimmy Ray Stevens wanted to get him in the ball game, and we see the effect of that already.
Corey Yarbrough in there at right guard. Ryan Kalick at left guard. Taylor running behind big Kalick. Ran over a man at the corner there. Steve Johnson took it right on the chin as the big senior from Belgrade barrels across the 50 to about the 48.
Well, Fred Taylor showed me a little of Walter Payton. You see Ryan Kalick on the pull, goes out, chops down the end, but watch him put the move on and then just run over him. Gives you that little jitterbug step where you try and force him out of bounds, then he just lowers the shoulder and becomes the punisher instead of the punishee.
The Gators have kept the ball on the ground. Terry Jackson is in as the lone running back on 2nd down and 3. Johnson kept it. Looked like a mix-up there as Doug struggled not to fumble it away, and he lost a yard back to the 50.
Well, those are some of the things that happen when you get a new center in there and you get to exchange. You got to stay in there as a quarterback and make sure you can't come out a little bit early, because if you do, you're liable to have an errant snap.
Florida's going to let the clock run out in the quarter. They'll have the ball near midfield with 15 minutes of football left in this all-important Southeastern Conference showdown in the Swamp. Going to the fourth, the Gators 26, the Volunteers 14.
Get ready to pack your bags for the Sprint International Golf Getaway. Sprint and Sunshine Network want to send you and a friend to Colorado to see some of the world's top golfers compete at the prestigious Castle Pines Golf Club. To enter, send us a 3x5 card with your name, address, phone number, and date of birth, or register online at sunshinenetwork.com and receive a special offer on a high-quality Sprint 900 MHz cordless phone. The Sprint International Golf Getaway, brought to you by Sunshine Network and Sprint, where it all comes together.
Florida leading Tennessee 26-14. 1 quarter left here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. The Swamp has been a scorcher today. Temperature when the game began over 100 degrees. It's cooling off a little bit now as the shadows begin to fall. Well, the winner of this football game historically just has such a tremendous advantage in an effort to try and get to the Southeastern Conference Championship game. Phil Fulmer, you know, ironically, basically he got the head coaching job at Tennessee because he beat Florida back in 1992. He was the interim coach. Johnny Majors was ill. Fulmer went 3-0 to start the season, including a convincing victory over the Florida Gators. Majors came back to coach the rest of the season, but Tennessee had a couple of upset defeats during the year, and Majors eventually lost his job. Fulmer was named the head coach. I really believe in large part because he did beat Florida that year. Ironically, now he's lost 4 in a row to the Gators, and the Tennessee people are, a lot of them are not real sure that he can do the job in the big game. So Florida has been at the focal point, both of his getting the job and now as he continues on in his coaching career. But he certainly has a tremendous record. The winningest coach in a 5-year span of time in college football is Phil Fulmer. He's got a 45-9 record and a percentage of 83%.
Well, that's a heck of an irony when you think about it. The fact that he got the job beating Florida, and both he and Peyton Manning have not been able to figure out this Gator football team to come away with a victory.
And they got 15 minutes to try and untangle the puzzle here today at the Swamp. Looks like the Gators drew Tennessee off sides, and they've gone
from foul. Ball start on the offense.
They've gone from 2nd and 2 to now 3rd down and about 9. Third quarter statistics, Florida being able to run the ball. Remember, they were negative rushing yardage before the third quarter began. So Fred Taylor has gone over 100 yards individually, and Florida is up to 93 yards rushing.
And that's what it's going to take here in the fourth quarter. A team that's able to run the football and control the line of scrimmage will have a better shot at winning this football game.
Johnson feeling the heat. Kareem made a good catch. He's looking for the first down marker, and a great second effort gave it to him.
Well, I talked with Coach Dixon this week about this young man, Nafis Kareem, and he felt that this would be his breakout week. They've been waiting on him to step up. Each week he does a lot of great things, and then he sort of takes a day off. But here he comes up, he makes the catch, knows where he's got to get. And you see Jacquez Green coming up with the block to get the extra yardage for the first down. There you see Doug Johnson standing in there taking the pressure as he's getting hit just as he released the ball by Jonathan Brown.
A big third down conversion for Florida and Doug Johnson. Terry Jackson, nothing there. Tennessee's front line just totally dominated the line of scrimmage. Jackson is driven down by number 40, Billy Ratliff.
What Tennessee did that time is they stepped the linebackers up. They showed blitz, but this is a run blitz. They're trying to get everybody in the gap. They know that Florida wants to run the football, so everyone is taking a gap. They're not concerned with getting to the quarterback. It's to stop the run.
That second unit and the offensive line still on the football field. Sedalis and Yarbrough. Kalick, the other guard. Scott Bryan out of Longwood, Florida. Cooper Carlisle at the other tackle. Johnson throwing deep for Jaquez Green. It's tipped away at the last second. A beautiful play by Terry Fair.
Well, Terry Fair looked like a one-arm bandit as he went up trying to protect that shoulder and is able to swat the ball away just as Jaquez Green is running underneath it. There you see him walking off with the sore shoulder. Excellent play by Terry Fair as he goes up with one hand and just swats it away with the left arm, trying to protect that right shoulder.
Boy, Fair is showing a lot of courage out here today, favoring that right shoulder, obviously. It's tough to cover a guy like Jaquez Green with one arm. But he just did it. And now it's third down again, this time 3rd and 13. Blitz. Everybody's covered. Johnson's got all day, but his pass is incomplete. No flag.
Well, Steve Johnson just got away with one because that was, without a doubt, interference on Jamie Richardson as he was holding on for dear life. Let's go back and see if we can see this. And look to the right side of your screen. Johnson's trying to get the ball to Jamie Richardson. And there you see Steve Johnson all over him with no call. Here's a better angle. As you can see, got a hand on him all the way.
Stevenson will try and back up Tennessee with a punt. Nice kick. Copeland called for the fair catch, but it's going to hit and trickle into the end zone. Had a chance, but just a little bit too much on it. 47-yard punt. And Tennessee and Peyton Manning will bring the ball out to the 20.
Jim Rome on McGuire.
Everybody's talking about you. You lead the news every night. If you don't like it, stop being Babe Ruth.
Rome on wrestling.
This just in. Wrestling. It's still a freak show.
The Last Word. Weeknights on Sunshine.
Hi, I'm Johnny Church. You're watching Breakfast with the Gators on Sunshine Network.
Tennessee Volunteers football at their own 20-yard line. Swing pass to the freshman Jamal Lewis. Couple of good moves and some hard running, and Lewis has a Volunteer first down to the 31. Finally brought down by John Xnitis.
And that's what Tennessee likes about this young man. Not only is he a young man with tremendous quickness and speed, but he's a good hard runner that's not easily brought down in the open field.
When everybody here in the swamp knows, as you look at Xnitis and another look at the play, everybody here knows that if Tennessee puts points on the board here, Nat, we have got quite a finish coming.
That we do, and this is where the defense has to come up big. They need to take the ball away, give it back to that offensive.
Manning tosses it out of bounds. He had to cut loose of it a little too soon, thanks to Mike Moten's pressure again.
What we're starting to see with Elijah Williams being out of the ball game, they're going after Ronnie Battle over here at that left corner on the fade route.
Very hot today. Players have had difficulty with cramps. Tony George is back on the field for Florida. It is 2nd and 10 from the 31. Manning slips out, throws a strike to Price. He'll be 3 yards short, about 2.5 or 3 yards short of a first down as Weary made the tackle at the 39. Good spot, putting it up close to the 40.
What they're doing is they're trying to push him off. No, they're in the outside technique, running the curl, coming back to meet the football as Fred Weary is just a tad late getting there. Good job of driving on the football, but what Price did that time was he came back to meet the football, so he was not able to break down the cushion.
Another important third down play. Tennessee needs 2 yards. Manning will try and throw for it. Almost picked off by Javon Kearse. That will bring up 4th down and 2.
And this is the second time that Javon Kearse has had a chance to come up with the pick. And he's not been able to hang on as the ball hits him square in the hands, but falls to the ground. A big play by the defense to stop this Tennessee drive as Javon Curse is in good position, reads the quarterback eyes all the way, jumps up, and just not able to hang on as the ball goes through his grabs.
Chris Hogue will punt again for Tennessee. Jaquez Green is back to return. Great kick. Green from his 11. Quez is down at the 23. Jermaine Copeland is all over the field. He made the tackle on the special team. He's caught 2 touchdown passes. Now he's playing the special teams for Tennessee.
The Orlando Predators are devouring all of the competition. The rest of the league, it's prey. The Arena Football League must beware because these Predators are hungry. Nashville tangles with Orlando Friday at 7:30 on Sunshine.
Hi, I'm Enrico Ciccone of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of history. Great collectibles from your favorite stars, teams, and heroes. It's a Florida Sports Hall of Fame auction.
It's the Florida Sports Hall of Fame auction, July 21st at 7 p.m.
Inside 12 minutes to play in the game. The Florida Gators still leading Tennessee by 12. Larry Vitale on the sidelines with former Gator great James Jones. And I tell you right now, James, we look now, it's Fred Taylor time. He's had a great second half so far.
You're exactly right about that. This is the perfect time to run the football. They wore down Tennessee a little bit. Now just hand the ball off to one of your best running back, Fred Taylor. Let him pound it up in there.
Florida put the second offensive line in on the last drive. Now the first unit's back. That's got to have them with fresh legs.
Well, sure. You can see how our defensive backs are just falling down like flies. Now it's switching our offensive linemen. Let the first unit go right now, and they should be a lot more fresher.
Okay, there's James. Now let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Larry. Seeing James, I thought about him earlier when Jermaine Copeland made a one-arm catch for a touchdown, and Taylor running it out to the 30. It brought back memories of a catch James Jones made, the season opener against Miami here in 1982. A one-arm catch backing into the end zone, which sealed a Florida victory against the Hurricanes.
Well, James is one of those guys with big paws, and he's made a lot of one-hand grabs. As you see Fred Taylor scooting along the line of scrimmage, looking for an opening as he goes forward for a 7-yard gain.
Fred Taylor really has come to life, the running game in the second half after being non-existent, in fact in negative numbers in the first half. There's the give to the fullback, and Jackson had him crossed up. Terry Jackson across the 35 to the 36 before Wilson dragged him down. That's good for a Florida first down. Very important drive here for the Gators, Nat.
Little misdirection as you see Terry Jackson comes up as if he's looking for the blitzing linebacker, cheating it up, and then you just give it to him on the inside handoff as he picks up the first down.
But if the Gators can gobble up some clock and get points here with a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, that would go a long way towards sealing a victory. Couple of running plays and a first down. Tennessee crowding the line of scrimmage. If Taylor can get outside, it could have been a big play, but Al Wilson, truly an outstanding linebacker, junior from Jackson, Tennessee, was able to close off the corner and keep Fred Taylor contained.
Well, that was an all-SEC play by Al Wilson because he's able to fight off the blocker, maintain his feet, and then make the tackle on Fred Taylor, not allow him to get outside. Excellent play by Al Wilson.
Tennessee has lined up Leonard Little. Johnson looking to throw. He's under great pressure. The pass caught by Green. Jaquez dragged down at the 28-yard line. That was a remarkable throw by Doug Johnson. Green made the catch, but for Johnson to stand in there and throw that ball as accurately as he did under that kind of pressure really speaks volumes about that young man.
Well, he did a good job of stepping up, throwing the football under pressure from Renat Tompkins, but by the same token, here's where you see the arm strength, because what happened there, David, Terry Fair misjudged the football. He thought he could get an undercut, but it had so much velocity on it, it got by him in a hurry, and Jaquez made the catch and turned upfield.
I think that is what was so surprising. Not that Johnson got the pass away, but that he had so much on it in that situation.
Well, that's the arm strength of this young man, and that's what Steve Spurrier and the Gator coaches have been raving about with this young guy. The tremendous arm strength.
Now they go back to the ground, and Taylor grinds out another 3 or 4. Darren Walker, a sophomore tackle out of Round O, South Carolina, was there to make the stop for Tennessee. There's Walker. Tennessee's defense has been on the field a long time this afternoon. It's hot. They've done a pretty good job. They have really surrendered only 19 points to Florida's offense because 7 of them came on an 89-yard interception return by Tony George. If you can hold Florida to 19 points in 3.5 quarters of football, you've done your job. Taylor running harder, it seems, as this second half continues.
And what we're starting to see is these Tennessee Volunteer defenders laying on the ground as Fred Taylor just runs over defender after defender as Terry Fair eventually makes the tackle. Good tough running by Fred Taylor at the point of attack.
And that can't be fun for Terry Fair, although it is his right shoulder that he partially separated in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago. But to be tackling Fred Taylor in the open field right now has to be Fair's worst nightmare.
Well, here's a guy that's 6'2", about 220, and here he comes out the back door.
The flag went down as Jackson carried it inside the 10. Gaines made the, but it looks like the penalty is going to go against Florida. Fans claiming their team number 1. And at least in one poll they are. If they go ahead and win this one, I would imagine they pick up a few more votes in the other poll. Not that it makes
the offense, penalty from the spot of the foul, 10 yards, and repeat the down.
Not that it makes that much difference, because if you go on and win them all, then you're going to be there in the end.
Here you see a takedown by Ryan Kalick, and the officials right on it. But look at the pan blocks by that offensive line as you see Volunteer defenders straddled all over the ground.
Fred Taylor has run for 137 yards. He's getting a break right now as Bo Carroll is checked in. And the give is to the freshman from Norristown. And Carroll, with good blocking up front, takes the ball inside the 20, back to the 19.
Look like every time you get Bo Carroll in the ball game, Tennessee decides they're going to get upfield. They're going to force this young man to run inside because they know of his speed. Ducking his head and getting up in there, picking up yardage.
A little tentative as he went through there, though.
Well, when you're a small man, you got to be smart. You don't just take on guys head on.
He's not going to knock anybody over, is he?
No, it's not a Fred Taylor, so he's got to make people miss him.
Johnson getting pressure from the outside, and a big play by Fred White. Sophomore from Griffin, Georgia. From the blind side, Doug Johnson had no chance.
He was very fortunate, and it shows you the tremendous strength of Doug Johnson as Fred White comes from the backside, and he really has an opportunity to knock this ball away. But you see Doug Johnson, strong arms, able to pull it in, tuck it away, and not lose it.
The Gators had the ball down around the 10-yard line and looking like they were going to get points of some kind here, but now they're just about to find themselves out of field goal range. It'll be 3rd and 25 from the 30-yard line.
Well, here's where they want to try and get some yardage back. They don't want to try and get it all.
There's another heads-up play by Johnson. He knew he was going to call timeout. He looked up to the 25-second clock using every tick before he signaled for the time. That's the last timeout for the Gators.
The best way to stay on top of everything going on inside the Gator athletic program is by subscribing to GatorBait, the only publication devoted to year-round Gator sports coverage. Each weekly edition includes in-depth analysis, scouting reports, player features, and exclusive recruiting news. Now you can get 32 issues plus the Florida football and basketball yearbooks. Just call 1-800-782-3216 to subscribe today. That's 1-800-782-3216. Don't wait. Get GatorBait.
You get a Gator Gold Card for just $50. Your Gator Gold Card will gain you entry into all home regular season volleyball, women's basketball, and gymnastics events at the University of Florida during the 97-98 year. If you'd like more information, call 1-800-34-GATOR. Toll free. Get your Gator Gold Card today. Florida on top of Tennessee in football, 26-14 with 6.5 to play in the fourth quarter. Mike Harris, who played a great first half, has been slowed in the second half by a broken little finger. You see him taping that little finger to the ring finger on his left hand. Third down, and the Gators would like to get some yards here to maybe give Cooper a shot at another field goal. Well, they're going to go for broke. Touchdown. Did he hold on? Yep, he did. Typical Spurrier. Forget the 5 or 10 yards to set up 3 more, which would put it from 12 to 15. Let's go deep. And Spurrier couldn't be happier.
What does he do? He sends the big tight end, the big target, to the middle of the field. As you see, Terrace Ross, or is it, excuse me, Aaron Kinney coming up with the catch for the touchdown. Just sending him right down the center of the field. There's just no way the linebacker can run with him as he makes the catch, scores the touchdown, and it's too late as White comes in and knocks it loose.
And the linebacker you're talking about,
that was Terrace Ross, the tight end.
The linebacker you're talking about was Al Wilson, a pretty good football player. Cooper drills the extra point. That is one big football play for the Gators. Sitting at the 30-yard line on 3rd and 15. And they hit the touchdown pass to tight end Terrace Ross.
And that's once again where the Gators answer. The Volunteers score, and here come the Gators. As you see Doug Johnson going to his big tight end, going through the middle of the field for the touchdown. As you see him cross the goal line, and then the ball's knocked out.
And he did have possession as he went across the plane. And Ross, that is his second career touchdown catch, only his second reception of the year. Look at the number on the drive. The Gators got the ball with about 11 minutes, 50 seconds to play. Only leading by 12. Manning begins to build some momentum, but Florida pushes the ball up the field and scores 7 points to now make it a 33-14 game. Huge drive by Florida.
Well, that's the offense coming up big when necessary. Defense have been getting a little tired. They know they needed to give them a break. They take 5 minutes off the clock, giving the defense a chance to rest for the final minutes of the fourth quarter.
You know, last year, Florida tight ends, add them all up, they only caught 14 balls. In 3 games now this year, Aaron Kinney has caught 6, Ross has caught 2. They've got 8 between them with 8 games still to play in the regular season.
And you can expect Steve Spurrier to continue doing that until they start to play the tight end going through the middle.
Stevenson kicking it off. Dwayne Goodrich on the return, and Stevenson's going to have to make another play. He can't get Goodrich down. Now there's a lot of help. But a great return by Dwayne Goodrich. And again, Gators' kick coverage has left a lot to be desired. There's a flag thrown down late on the pile.
Something with Kerwin Bell.
Florida's best kicking game has been when Stevenson has been able to pound it through the end zone. And Tennessee has been able to bring it out. They've had some nice returns.
Well, Tennessee is a very talented football team. They've got some return men back there with some skill. And if you give them a crack, they all know how to read the block and try and get that yardage.
We have an illegal block in the back during the run back. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Tennessee's will suffer the penalty, and let's go down on the field to Larry Vitale with a special guest. Larry?
All right, thanks a lot, David. You know, Kerwin Bell in 1984 was in his second year of college. He had to play on the road against Miami. This is Doug Johnson's first big start. Give us a report.
Well, I think he's done a marvelous job, you know, with the pressure he's under and the poise he showed. It's really been a good testament to what kind of player he is.
He's done number 12 proud.
He has. He's done a super job.
Okay, back to you, David.
Still one of my all-time favorite Gators, Kerwin Bell. 6 minutes to go. The ball thrown behind the Schuler by Manning. Incomplete.
If that pass would have been on target, Johnny Rutledge would have had an interception. So he wisely threw it behind Schuler, was able to get the incompletion. Johnny Rutledge ready to play all the way, getting good deep drop for a linebacker. Back 10, 12 yards, reading the quarterback's eyes, reacting to the throw.
Doug Johnson didn't compare too badly to the Heisman front runner on that statistical breakdown, did he?
He stood up pretty well under the pressure, and he's done some things that you have to do. That's allow your teammates to make plays for you.
Swing pass to the fullback, Sean Bryson, and he'll get a yard or two. Tony George was there. Fred Weary. By the way, Elijah Williams is back on the field. That's a good thing because Williams has played an outstanding football game, really getting his first big test. He did not play the opener against a good Southern Mississippi team. He played well against Central Michigan, but that was more or less a scrimmage. So we now know that Eli Williams is a big-time cornerback in this conference. Manning trying to get their offense in gear in a hurry. And the pass is caught, but Javon Kearse won't let go.
And what you really have to like is the way this Gator defense is flowing to the football. You know, they're letting them complete it, and then they're reacting up, holding them to short gains. Good pursuit by this Gator defense. Peyton Manning tries to get him to think to the right side, comes back to the left, and there you see Javon Kearse out in the screen.
All right, Florida with that big lead, and we're down to the 5-minute mark in this ball game.
When it comes to universities, what matters most? Teaching? Research? Public service? When it comes to universities, what matters most is performance. The University of Florida.
Last year in Knoxville, this might be the defining play of the Spurrier era at Florida. Early in the first quarter, 4th down and 11, Spurrier goes deep. Danny Werfel to Riedel Anthony, and the Gators score 35 unanswered points in the first half, defeating Tennessee 35-29. That made it 4 straight over the ball. Big play last year, no question about it, up in Knoxville. There have been some tremendous individual plays in this series in the 1990s. Peyton Manning is looking for a big play on 4th down and 3 here for the Volunteers. His team is trailing 33-14. Manning steps up. He is buried. Florida takes the football with 4:53 to play.
Thaddeus Bullard coming around the end. Once again, the Gators trick the Volunteers as they showed them blitz as if they were going to come, and then they backed everybody back into the zone, and there was just nowhere to go with the football. This is a coverage sack as Thaddeus Bullard comes around the left end, or the right end, excuse me, and is able to get there using that quickness and speed with Keith Kelsey, Ed Chester all coming in on the sack.
And Florida, with only 4:53 left, appears headed for another victory against Tennessee.
Well, I expect Tennessee to blitz every down to try and get somebody up in the gap to try and take this ball away in a hurry because they cannot stop the clock. They're out of timeouts.
And don't be surprised if Johnson doesn't just turn around and hand it off to somebody. Florida is going to be penalized here. The 25-second clock didn't run out on them, but some other penalty has been called.
Well, I think they're going to get hit with the illegal substitution. They had 12 men in the huddle.
I have a dead ball, illegal substitution, 5-yard penalty on the offensive team.
That's tough to sneak off the field so that nobody will see you, but Florida had a man trying to do that out of the huddle, and I think it was Richardson. He just wasn't invisible enough.
Well, they had too many receivers in the ball game, and what happens, usually when you see a team do that, and the reason they call it is it hurts the defense where they can't put out the proper defensive scheme because they don't know who's going to be in the ball game.
You know, Manning will probably take some criticism again for his team not beating Florida. You know he's going to take the brunt of it because he is the quarterback, but he has faced tremendous pressure from what might be, if not the best defensive team in the country. It's certainly, Nat, it's going to hold up through the year as one of the top 3 or 4 defensive units in college football.
Well, as long as they keep playing defense the way they're playing today, you know, the Gators will have an opportunity to be there at the end of the year. You know, I said at the top of the telecast that defense win championship. You got a young quarterback that's going to make some mistakes, but also will make plays for you. Your defense has to come to play every Saturday.
Well, it's a different Florida team for sure. It doesn't have that quick strike of the Anthony Hilliard, Danny Werfel, but obviously there are enough weapons here offensively to score points, especially when you've got the kind of defense that Florida is going to put out there every week.
Right, and what we're starting to see here is everybody knows they're going to run the football. Tennessee is bringing everybody. You don't have enough guys to block them, but what Fred Taylor is doing is he's taking care of the football. He's not trying to get anything extra. He's going down, controlling the football, keeping that clock running.
And he doesn't want to go anywhere near the sideline where he might get thrown out of bounds either. It's 3rd down and 16. The clock continues to run. Johnson watching that 25-second clock, used almost all of it up before the snap. He'll throw and overthrows Jaquez Green. That does stop the clock with 3:21 remaining. Now let's go down on the field to Larry. Larry?
David, you've already heard the chants of it's great to be a Florida Gator and all the rest, but Tennessee is obviously publicizing Peyton Manning as a Heisman Trophy candidate, and deservedly so. He's a tremendous talent. He has obviously played very well today despite a couple of interceptions. As you mentioned, the Florida pressure has been relentless. Ed Chester and Mike Moten on the inside, Bullard and Kearse and Beauchamp and Rogers. Florida's kept coming at him in waves. Peyton Manning may still win the Heisman Trophy, but one trophy may elude him through his career, an SEC championship one. David?
Well, it's a shame for Peyton Manning, a quality individual and a great quarterback. Well, we have a penalty. Let's talk more about that, but first we'll see what's going on. They called a penalty against Florida, against Quez Green. A lot of talking going on. Terry Fair and Quez Green. You can't take your helmet off, and Quez did that.
Well, but that was incited by Terry Fair as he started to woof at Quez Green. And the officials have to be smart enough also to see both parts of that.
Well, you saw the official with his back turned to him. He got bumped into by Green, so they missed him. That block was just off the side of Robbie's foot.
Well, he tried to flip it over and straighten it when he caught it, and it went off the side of his foot as he rushed to kick. One thing about the Florida-Tennessee game, it's never over. It's always exciting until the bitter end, David.
Still a 19-point lead, 3-touchdown advantage with only 3 minutes, 15 seconds to play. Tennessee does have good field position at its 40-yard line. But you and I were talking before the game, Nat, and we have a small disagreement on this point, but I really think the loser of this game, which right now appears to be Tennessee, still is going to have an opportunity to be in the coalition, going to be one of the top 6 teams in the country, has an opportunity to do that.
Well, I think they'll be in the coalition, but they will not have an opportunity to play on January 2nd.
Well, what Tennessee has done in previous years is this game has been so devastating to their psyche as a football team that not only did they lose this one, but somewhere along the line last year, Memphis, somebody reaches up and bites them, and it knocks them out of the upper echelon as it did last year. Manning completing the ball to Nash. Nash has had a big game, but not big enough. Tony George on the tackle.
Gators are sitting back in a soft zone, allow them to throw the ball in front of them. What they don't want to do is get beat deep on a quick strike, so they're giving him a little room, force him to throw the ball, coming up trying to make the sure tackle. Tennessee needs 3 scores to beat him.
Manning throwing again. He's got his receiver. That's Mccullough. And Mike Harris with that broken little finger on the left hand is able to make the tackle at the 15. Tennessee, remember, no timeouts left. Florida's sitting back in that zone, and Peyton Manning is picking it apart. Only 2.5 minutes to play, and now the fans down in that south end zone rise to their feet, try to keep Manning and the ball's out of the end zone, but they can't do it. Great throw by Manning, and the catch. Tico Brown had pretty good coverage. That is a nice catch by Wilson in the end zone.
And what Peyton Manning is continuing to do is he's pump faking to hold Tico Brown so that he's not able to get a good jump on the pass as he throws it down the middle of the field. You see him pump, and then he goes to, who's that?
That's Wilson.
Wilson for the touch.
He's a freshman last year, rather this year, a high school football player a year ago, a true freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee. That's his first touchdown reception. He caught a couple of balls in the first 2 games. Now Tennessee will go for 2. They scored quickly and have cut the lead to 13. Manning pressured, broke away. Throwing for the corner. It is incomplete. And it's still a 13-point Florida lead with 2:21 left. And Tennessee obviously thinking onside kick here. Florida leading by 33-20. We'll return to the swamp in a moment.
Reaching outside of yourself to make a child smile, ease someone's pain, or provide hope for a better tomorrow. These are just a few reasons why so many have come together through Sunshine Network Charities to promote awareness of nonprofit organizations throughout Florida. Because when we give of ourselves, we are giving the key to a better future to all. It's a chance to enrich lives and provide a positive atmosphere of love and hope through generosity. Because with Sunshine Network Charities, everybody wins.
Tennessee hitting quickly after the short punt by Robbie Stevenson. They took it right up the field and put it in the end zone as Florida went to a very soft defense, Nat. And, you just got to question. They've played such great defense all day. To go soft against Manning and Tennessee's offense resulted in 6 very quick points.
Well, what you're trying to do is to force them to go the length of the field without being able to hit a quick strike. The problem is, in college football, every time you get a first down, the clock stops and time enough to move the chain. So it's like getting a semi-timeout for the Volunteers.
Well, here's a big play. With still 2:21 left, Tennessee obviously setting up the onside kick. All the good hands folks are up front. And it's loose. It's available for somebody, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Florida's ball. Man, that was a little scary for the Gators. That ball popped up into the air off of Jamie Richardson, I think.
Well,
and Tennessee couldn't get it.
Well, Jamie Richardson showed a lot of courage as he really got hit. As the ball pops up, he goes up to try and get it. And here's the smart thing. There you see Battle swatting it out of bounds, knowing that if it goes out, it's Gator football.
Once again, neither team is able to stop the clock. Both teams have used all their timeouts. Of course, Florida doesn't want to stop the clock. Tennessee just wants to get the ball back as quickly as possible.
What the Gators need here to be able to run out the clock is a first down. One first down and this ball game's over.
Johnson will drop back and take a knee. Back at the 44-yard line. He took a little shot from Ron Green, a junior, but referee Dick Burleson says not severe enough to throw a flag. Clock keeps running. The ball's back at the 44. 2 minutes left in the football game, and Florida nursing that 33-20 lead against Tennessee. It'll be interesting to see how these two teams come back next week. Actually, Tennessee has the week off next week. They had this game right out there all by itself with a week off before, a week off after. They don't play for a couple of weeks against Ole Miss. Florida's got to get right back out there and travel up to Lexington against a much improved Kentucky team which trounced Indiana on Saturday. That was expected to be a little bit closer, but Kentucky won that game 49-7, and Hal Mummy's got that team really playing some good football.
Well, they've got a good young quarterback up there in Couch, and he's throwing that ball around there, having some fun, putting some points on the board.
1 minute to play in the game as you see the clock ticking down, and Johnson, there's a flag thrown. Johnson goes down. And this does impact Florida's rushing statistics, the way these sacks are piling up, which really I've never really understood why. It seems to me there should be a separate statistic. This has nothing to do with rushing the football when your quarterback gets hit behind the line.
Defense.
Now that was just a bonehead play by the Volunteers linebacker as he jumps over the pile early, trying to make a play. That was Thompson, and there's just no call for it. You know that the quarterback is going to take a few steps back and down the football. You got a chance. Now you give him another play.
It's third down again, and Doug Johnson will just step back, run some more clock. Once again, that Florida's defense has shut down Tennessee's running game. Last year, Tennessee had 26 yards rushing up in Knoxville. And unofficially, we've got Tennessee for 45 yards rushing the football. And Florida doesn't even have to punt the ball. So this game is over. The Gators held Tennessee, Nat, to 45 yards rushing. And defensively, it was just a marvelous performance.
Oh, a complete turnaround from the first half where Tennessee looked like they were going to be the ball club, able to run the football. In the second half, Fred Taylor got cranked up. That big offensive line started to push people around, and the Gators were able to run for over 100 yards. Or I think Fred Taylor went over 110, 115 yards.
Don't you think, we talked about it at halftime, but don't you think that was really the key? Florida's running the ball in the second half.
Well, that's a big key, because anytime you can run the football, you keep the ball out of Peyton Manning's hands in that explosive offense that he has, and if you don't have the football, you cannot score.
Bill Fulmer, he's able to beat everybody else in the Southeastern Conference, but his problems with this particular football team continue. That's 5 straight Florida over Tennessee. And Doug Johnson, the man of the hour in Gainesville, what a performance by the sophomore, leading the Gators to victory. 33-20 the final score. Florida now has won 18 in a row here in the Swamp. We'll take a break and be right back to Gainesville in just a moment.
Jim Edmonds leads the up-and-coming Angels against Griffey, Rodriguez, and the hard-hitting Mariners. Baseball Thursday on Sunshine.
The Orlando Predators are devouring all of the competition. The rest of the league, it's prey. The Arena Football League must beware because these Predators are hungry. Nashville tangles with Orlando Friday at 7:30 on Sunshine.
And we are back at the Swamp on Sunshine Network. The Florida Gators have beaten Tennessee. Coach Steve Spurrier, great win.
Just thanking our fans. They had a big part in this victory. I can assure you, crowd noise really helped us against Tennessee today. Our defense was outstanding. We were really sporadic. We had more plays on offense today. But our defense bailed us out.
Your offensive line of Fred Taylor made a huge difference in the second half.
Well, we got some running plays going. Fred Taylor ran beautifully. But I tell you what, Tennessee was tough. They had a good game plan. They coached well. We just happened to hit some plays here and there. And we missed a lot, but Tennessee was tough. They played very well, but our defense played extremely well.
Doug Johnson showed a lot of poise out there.
Yeah, well, Tony George had the interception. Gosh, I think we hit 3 touchdowns on third down passes. Thank goodness. Lord's still smiling on the Gators.
All right, Gator head coach Steve Spurrier, the Florida Gator football team does it again to Tennessee. That's 5 in a row over the boys from Rocky Top, 33-20 here in the Swamp. Now let's send it back upstairs to David Steele and Nat Moore.
Yeah, some things just don't seem to change. Florida continues to own Tennessee. They, of course, Nat, have owned just about everybody else as well. They are now 44-2 in the Swamp since 1990, and against Southeastern Conference teams 25-1. Auburn is the only SEC team that has been able to come in here and beat Florida. That was back in '94. Florida State beat the Gators earlier back in the early 90s. But other than that, this has just been a very tough place to play. Tennessee brought a good football team in here today, but not good enough to beat this excellent #1 ranked Florida team, which really looked like a top-ranked football program, especially with its defensive play this afternoon.
Well, the problem is Florida walks on the field now, they expect to win. They go out there not knowing that they're supposed to win the football game. Tennessee plays everybody else, they expect to win. They come in to play the University of Florida, they start to wonder if they can win. If we do this right, we've got a chance. And until they can get over that hurdle, they don't have a prayer of whooping these Florida Gators.
Well, that'll do it. Florida fans hanging around, relishing this moment, another big win in the Swamp. And this football team, with still 8 games to play in the regular season, has a chance to be very, very special indeed. The big numbers today for Florida, the Gators over Tennessee 33-20. Coach Steve Spurrier continues his